time.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Fun week of match play golf last week. A little bit of the rundown for this week. We are actually, so we'll recap what happened, and let's recap. We'll recap March Madness first, and we'll stick with basketball first. We'll recap what happened in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, and who's in that Final Four, and what our picks are for that. We'll go through that afterwards. And then once we're done with that, we will jump into the match play event in Texas. A new number one world golfer.
In 6 weeks?
In 6 weeks.
It's
fastest to do it after his first win. So we'll talk about that. And then we will jump into Valero Texas Open. Obviously, we'll have some news in there. And then probably talk a little bit about Coach K's last hurrah. And then the excitement leading up to the Masters with a certain well-known golfer.
It is pre-Masters week. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
we'll
definitely talk about that.
And then we'll definitely talk about what we're doing for the Masters because we have not decided. Yeah. So you're along for the ride on that one.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
All right. So a little bit of recap.
Oh, basketball.
Game number one on our list, Gonzaga versus Arkansas. Mm-hmm. What, Cole, did you watch that game? I mean, you might have a little bit more of a insider information. So Arkansas won that game.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the tweets and stuff afterwards were Gonzaga wasn't tough enough, and Arkansas kind of, Gonzaga needs grittier players and all of that. But ultimately, and you hear this, and it's super cliche, but like basketball's a make or miss game, and Gonzaga didn't make shots and was still in the game. For the most part. In Arkansas, that's how they needed it to go in order to win, and it did. But that seems to be the problem with Gonzaga year in and year out, is that they're consistently a number one seed now, so no longer a Cinderella story, but they're still kind of a Cinderella number one, but it's because of their schedule. Nobody can really figure them out, and they're always talented, so it's not like they have crappy players. But ultimately, when it comes to the tournament, it comes to matchups, it comes to can your 3, 4, and 5 players on the depth chart perform when options 1 and 2 are taken away, which inevitably that's what teams are game planning against in the tournament. And if they don't, then you're going to lose. I mean, you look at St. Peter's this year, they're the Cinderella story. Doug didn't play well against North Carolina. First game, he hadn't played well.
To be fair, no one shot on that team.
They didn't play well as a team. Like before that, they had 4 or 5 guys. They were all delivering 10 to 15 points a game, and that's why they kept winning. And then when they didn't, they lost by 20, and that's what they would have done in the first round.
If they didn't shoot.
And if Kentucky would have made free throws in the first round, St. Peter's wouldn't have been a story at all. So, if Kentucky shoots 60% from the free throw line,
that's bad.
St. Peter's is never even a story. So, that's the make or miss stuff that we talk about, and yet St. Peter's, they made it all the way to the Elite 8, but
I believe that's
just the NCAA tournament in a nutshell.
Yeah, and just the theme of the weekend too,
right? Because the games were terrible.
But they were not good. One team couldn't shoot, one could, not barely enough.
There was something like a stat I think we saw on TV. It was like prior to this year, 53 was the lowest point total scored in a March Madness game, and what was it, 50 to 44 was the UNC?
No, that was Villanova. Houston.
Yeah, there's a ton of games and a ton of teams scoring less than that. Is it because the defense is getting better, or is it because, like you said, it's a make or miss game? And
right. I mean, I think it's threefold. I think it's the new basketball, which is garbage, by the way, and that's, I think, agreed on across the board. There's teams that played with it all year. I have no idea what the teams left, if anybody played with it or not played with it, but there's less scoring because that ball would bounce all over. We had 2 games this year where cheerleaders got the ball off the top of the score clock.
Yeah.
We've never had almost that before because that ball is just bouncier, which means it's less likely to go in.
It's also just ugly.
And it's ugly.
It's just ugly.
So that's number one reason for me that scoring is down. So you're not getting any shooters touches. You're getting some from the free throw line, but from outside you're getting a lot of long rebounds. Stuff like that. Second thing is the refereeing. So a ton of charge calls, which
so many charge calls,
should be removed from the game. I'm you can't say that. And like, I'm a basketball purist, so I understand that there are times where there are charges, but every time that a defender falls down, I would say 90% of the time, if you go back and watch when a defender falls down in the NCAA tournament, it was called a charge. That's just not right.
And then who was it? Was it the Zags game that their big man was just standing still?
Yeah, they had all 5 fouls.
He didn't fall. He did not fall, but those would be charges if he would have just fell.
Yeah, and the way he defends is not to fall. Like, he's a long guy, so he's using his length to not fall. He's not just standing in there. The Alabama center is the exact opposite. He's not a shot blocker, but he is literally, like, every coach tells the refs before the game, this guy's going to flop. And yet every game he gets 2 to 3 charge calls. And you've got to consider that there's a flop warning now in college basketball as well. So, like, not only are they not calling the flop warnings, they're calling the charges. So, like, it's either one end or the other, which is also isn't correct in my opinion. Because if you just take if a guy falls down on defense, unless he just gets absolutely railroaded, it should just either be a no call or an and one. And that will stop immediately. If you run me over and I stand up and you knock me backwards out of bounds while I'm on my feet, then I can that's a charge.
Right.
Like, because I'm actually in position to play defense. When a guy dribbles down the lane, the guy in the corner, slides over, and the guy passes to the guy in the corner for a wide open 3, and then I bump into him and he falls, and now we're going the other way.
There's no way.
Like, that's not defense. No. Or when the third guy comes over to help, that's just not defense, and then that's taking away from offensive flow and the guys wanting to attack the basket, which in basketball is how you score points. You attack, and then you kick out. If you have to play on the perimeter because you can't attack, you're not going to score. That's basketball in general. So, I think that's the second reason. So you got the ball, you got the refs, and then just physical play in general. There's not a lot of post play these days. One, because you don't have a lot of skilled players in the post. But you just don't realize, like, when you watch March Madness, I think it brings it to a head how skilled NBA scorers are. Now, it's not fun for me to watch until the playoffs because that's when the guys really start playing. But those guys are elite scorers.
Oh, absolutely.
And college basketball, you've got so many more teams. Like, you don't have a ton of elite scorers, elite shooters, guys who can create one-on-one and just go make a shot for 40 minutes. Now, that's why you see like 7, 8, 9-0 runs, but then you see the other team come back with the same thing. Yeah. And then you go on 5-minute scoring droughts. And I would say in 50% of the games in this year's Madness, there was at least one team that had a 4-minute scoring drought or more type of thing. Yeah. And that's what leads, it's those 3 things that as I watch, I'm just like, and that's not to say like, if they're actually, that's all people care about is, are there any buzzer beaters or close games at the end? They don't really care how ugly the game is. So that's what's been disappointing about the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 is that there was nothing even exciting. Like, they were crappy games, and they weren't close. Right. So you got no excitement whatsoever.
You got St. Mary's. That was
St. Peter's, yep.
St. Peter's, St. Mary's.
Yeah. Yeah, but even then, like, and then they got shelled by North Carolina. So it wasn't
absolutely
even a game, like,
rickrolled.
It wasn't even like,
my lord, from the get-go.
So yeah, the Elite 8 games for sure were not.
No, they weren't.
Houston, like you said, 50-44. Villanova, Houston scores like 80 points a game, and they got held to 44.
Yeah,
like,
wasn't good. So,
and Villanova lost one of their best players. So
yeah,
right. But I don't. How do we do on picks?
Oh God, you guys,
know.
So I have ruptured my Achilles. So watching that live, I knew it was
slow motion.
And then they slowed it down.
Just a snap.
Layhart texts me and goes, "Is that an Achilles toy?" No shit, buddy.
Thanks.
First of all, you're a pharmacist. I think you know as well.
That was a rhetorical question.
Yeah,
it made me physically ill. Like, it legitimately. I don't
see, because you've had the Achilles. So Achilles, like, I don't mind watching. I've rolled ankles several. So like anytime the step on the foot turn, like I'm like, oh, like, because like my ankles can feel it, and I'm sure your Achilles can
every
feel
time.
it. Yeah, so like
pop.
Yeah,
Jello of the cat. Okay, moving on.
Ryan's like, you basketball players are soft as hell. Like
they are.
Yeah.
It also takes a little bit more to be able to run up and down a court than it does from a athleticism perspective. It takes a lot more toughness to get on a wrestling mat.
But I also think as a whole, the most athletic sport potentially from an overall athleticism standpoint might be basketball.
Oh yeah, because
There's a very and
you have to have explosiveness. You have to have straight speed in times, but you also have to have the stamina. So it requires, I feel like, the most.
Yes,
I would say the
Our
most
best-
agility.
best athletes.
Right.
Best. I'm not saying that they're maybe the best athletes on the play,
Well,
but
right,
overall, like encompassing athleticism, I feel like that's probably the number one sport. And I know guys. I wrestled with guys that stepped and threw with the same hand and same foot. Like it doesn't take a full on athlete to be a wrestler by any means.
Damn, I'm trying to think of all the other sports.
Yeah, I mean, basketball is definitely up there as far
I
as
think
just.
the next closest might be like soccer because it's in the same.
Yeah,
realm.
no.
Oh,
I agree.
And you
like,
have to use your feet with
and
the ball,
honestly,
which
Right.
I'd have to
understand.
see, but
it's got to be close.
like I look at guys like Messi, Ronaldo, like these high end soccer players that I just have to see them. Could they shoot the ball? Could they do this?
Oh,
Could
absolutely.
Yeah,
they,
but like Messi's tiny.
No, they
Right.
would get bodied. There's no way.
And he couldn't play football.
Soccer men's they're still soft. So we got
Yeah.
that part. So no, let's get that
Also,
part out of it.
also, like the U.S. would be good at soccer if we weren't so
So
good
good at
at
all
NFL
the other sports.
and NBA and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
I'm
If our
convinced
best
of
players
that.
were just
soccer players, like,
it'd be game over.
I mean, like Ocho Cinco when he went from
Yeah.
the Bengals to trying out for whatever Sporting
Yeah.
KC or whoever he tried out for, and not that he was ever going to make it because like the footwork skills and stuff like that it takes to play soccer completely different. But I'm just saying, like, if like in the countries that are really good at soccer, from little like LeBron played soccer, like okay,
Half the NFL
Right,
played soccer.
and like
Now,
I
obviously,
mean,
you
that's
can't
just a-
foul people, but
one example, but I just basketball I think is kind of all encompassing in that.
like if you could,
they
if I
weren't
could
so
teach,
soft, I would
if
agree.
I could teach,
If it was the
if you could
90s.
teach a
Yeah,
Usain
but,
Bolt
like-
or
but they-
Tyreek Hill or somebody like that to have ball skills
Right.
in soccer, like it's
Right,
unstoppable.
Tyreek Hill's perfect.
Yeah.
Like he's a perfect example of like I feel like you can teach Tyreek Hill how to play soccer, but you can't teach him how to play hockey though.
he would be
Because that's a very
on the Mighty Ducks. What's the guy who
skill-related-
can't stop?
Yeah,
That's him.
Yeah,
Luis
That would-
Mendoza.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mendoza.
Mendoza,
He would
yes.
not be able to stop.
right. You know.
Okay, moving on. We have not
right.
recapped at all.
No,
by the way.
I mean we did. We talked about the games. So
No, we talked about one game.
Yes.
Points wise, we went just in this round alone. We went Stoy with 4 right, Cole with 7 right. I had 8 right. Our overall totals though, we're close. It's 40, 39, 39.
So for this week, Stoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's like, damn, we had to do basketball, not just golf, huh?
Yeah.
Close your eyes. Here, wait. We need to introduce the
yeah.
the shitty shot grab bag.
See it?
So,
Sponsored by.
you know, sponsored by
It's not
Hy-Vee.
sponsored by, but they can
Where
if
there's
they
a
want.
Where there's a-
full smile in every.
Gosh, that was it. Can we get that as a sound?
You want to hold that?
I don't want to hear myself. I got it. Here we go.
There's a.
But yeah,
I'm not that tall. God damn.
So
One grab. No.
I was mixing.
Filling around in there.
Butterscotch.
Oh, we got the butter.
I got the butterscotch. Ooh, with my bumbu? Oh.
Just pour it in there.
I thought about it.
Don't ruin
So-
the bamboo.
looking at this, when we are looking at this,
We are.
remember, I wish Stoy would have made this bet too, because prior to last week when I said if I didn't have anybody in the Final Four, I had to take a shitty shot because I went on my free throw percentage.
Right.
Stoy didn't do that, and he didn't get any.
Any. Wow.
But
No, and
I did do that. Hey,
I
got
actually
2.
bet against what my brackets say too.
Right. No. That's,
Yeah.
that's
I
right.
did.
really
I did.
stupid.
I did do that.
Clearly
and
didn't work out.
That's something I would do.
I did that in the Texas Tech one. I thought Texas Tech was. I mean, defensively they've played really, really well all season, and maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Coach K's last hurrah. We were going to talk about it.
Duke in their last
No, I don't
2
like it warm.
games got.
I don't like it warm.
I mean, in their last 8 minutes of like second half play in both of those games, Duke played their best 2 games of basketball
I
a
think
year.
they found something.
And if you do that in March Madness,
They found something.
you are going to win basketball games with as much talent as they have. So,
I definitely
gonna be
think
tough
they found
out.
something.
Who?
but they've also, now they got to play a very familiar foe, but a very unfamiliar March foe. So we'll talk about that a little bit later.
What? So I'll ask this.
Absolutely.
Who is your biggest surprise, do you think, that made the Final Four?
I mean, it's got to be North Carolina.
That made it?
Yeah. It's in the Final Four right now.
I mean,
That's not, yeah.
it has to be UNC, but the way they played late in their season plus ACC, that is not a shock to me. Their seed was off, in my opinion. So
I thought the
yes,
ACC
of those four.
was trash this year, and I'm not sure that that's wrong. Because March is so, the tournament is so much different than what you're watching during the season. Like, I watched Duke play this year.
They were not.
Duke is not playing like Duke played during the regular season.
Right.
North Carolina, same thing. But I think North Carolina just kind of got some stuff figured out from a rotational perspective, got healthy. And that was the thing that was tough about this year is that COVID still had an impact, and we kind of forget about that at the very beginning of the season, which kind of impacted how everything worked for rotations and everything like that.
It also impacted that we have 6-year seniors.
Right.
So it's older. There's a lot of moving parts here, but I would say UNC you have to go with UNC.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of when that feeling of a COVID year is going to end. It's going to take a couple years yet, because even guys now, I might
It gets
sit
through
here and
everyone
say,
who
I have 2
no
years
longer
or 3.
can-
Exactly.
It gets through everyone who cannot have a COVID year.
So it's going to be 4 years-ish.
I mean,
Or
I
4 or
think by
5
next
years,
year, though,
who
you're
knows
going
what
to
this
start
year's?
to see, because this year guys are still coming back for next year. Guys are starting to announce and stuff like that now. So, yeah, definitely into next year you're going to see it. And I would probably say by the end of next year, that's going to start to –
There'll be less than
you'll
less
just, like,
and
start
less.
to see less.
So I think, but I think you see a lesson of an impact maybe in basketball and football, where guys are declaring for drafts and everything a little bit early. I mean, I see it a little bit harder in a different sport. I see it hard in wrestling.
Yeah.
Looking at guys that in wrestling is so much different, because I can take an Olympic red shirt, I can take my regular red shirt, I can take, if I get hurt and tear my Achilles, whatever,
We all get
a medical, I can take my medical red shirt. But like, there's guys that graduated high school with me that are still competing
In college wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
It's nuts. Could you imagine playing football for 7 years?
No.
You know everything.
Like, that's the
It'd
thing
be
with
so
wrestling,
cool.
though, too, is I'll ask Ryan, is like, I read shirt, so I played my full 5 years or whatever, but like, wrestling's different because like injuries are more likely to happen.
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe severity, but I think like little nagging injuries definitely happen more in other sports. So like I feel like if I'm rolling an ankle, it's going to happen in basketball. It's going to happen in football. It's going to happen like that, where some of those, though, take you out for quite an extended period of time. Right. They might not be, okay,
they're not going to be red
my
shirt.
labrum.
Right.
I just did that. Like, I
red
think.
Red-shirtable
yeah.
offenses?
Yeah.
So I think maybe
like
in
more
sense.
serious type of
and
injury.
And the big thing, there's a big thing happening in wrestling and changing of tides is if a guy is hurt coming out of high school or different stuff, or maybe he's going to a like a Cornell, an Ivy League school, different stuff like that. It's gray shirting's humongous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right now, where I'm just going to be a part timer for a little bit. Yeah. Then my D1 clock doesn't start.
Right. Yeah. So they're prolonging the D1 clock, but they're also not really. There's not another step, unless like you said, if you're going to the Olympics, you got an Olympic red shirt, but like professional wrestling per se. So like you're going to wrestle as long as you possibly can.
Exactly.
Because the collegiate level is the peak.
Right.
Unless you're winning an Olympic title, winning an Olympic medal, world medals, then you're not necessarily getting paid. Right. I think NIL deals will change it a little bit, but it's not going to. It's going to change for a lot of bigger guys.
Right.
When they're going to the WWE, they already got the frame. They're ready to rock and roll. Gable Steveson, he's the prime example. But I don't think it definitely doesn't change for everybody. And wrestling is one of the only sports. Mm-hmm. Where their professional side of things, obviously disbarring WWE from this conversation, but the professional side of things is a not-for-profit sport. Mm-hmm. They need to run it like a business and run it like a for-profit sport until they switch their business model.
Not to get too deep into the weeds.
They're trying. I think there's so many people trying.
I actually like watching wrestling, so sorry. You can tell it's just.
Hey, I used to wrestle.
I think there's.
I just haven't watched it in so long. I'm out.
I think there's stuff where people are trying. Yeah. At one point, we had Real Pro Wrestling is what it was called. I remember. So my head coach at UNI, Doug Schwab, he wrestled on the Iowa Stalkers, and it was like freestyle, push out rules, everything like it was. It was awesome to watch, but I just think it fizzled out. I don't know that they didn't have the following that they have now, and I just don't know that it was run like a proper
So in the next
business.
5 years, do you see something like that happening?
I think something probably happens in the works. Okay. I just don't. There's nothing. I just don't know if something's going to be established at that point.
Is it just because it's not? It's just not a sexy enough.
It's not nationally.
It's not. I don't even know what to call it, but so UFC got hot, took off. Mm-hmm. Wrestling probably cannot do that type of degree, I would assume, but can it get to more mainstream?
They can now with the sanctioning of women's wrestling. When women's wrestling started to get sanctioned in college, in high school, they can now. Before it was, it wasn't an inclusive sport.
Boys club.
Exactly.
Good old boys.
And they have to, and the biggest thing too is they have to decide. So there's not a different style of football. There's not a different style of basketball. There's not a different style of baseball.
In terms of the structure, obviously,
exactly.
There's an offense.
But the rules are the rules.
But there's Greco-Roman wrestling, there's freestyle wrestling, and there's folk style wrestling.
Right.
So you have to decide what is your professional sport going to be. Is it going to be?
But it's got to be.
I think if we did some sort of freestyle wrestling where it was that.
Here, let me tell you this. It's got to be the most exciting style of wrestling, which is
freestyle.
Oh, thank you.
Then that's got to be it.
Right.
I mean, so folk style excitement comes from scrambles. Mm-hmm. Freestyle comes from I can score a ton of points and I can score them quick. Mm-hmm. Greco-Roman is obviously I can throw people over the mat. Right. Greco-Roman is a lot of hand.
Good at that.
It's a lot of hand fighting.
But it's not fun to watch.
It's not fun to watch because there's not a ton of points getting scored all the time.
You got to have the one with the most points.
Freestyles, fast twitch. I was
a grime wrestler.
The rules.
Did you wrestle?
The rules make.
I played basketball too.
The rules in freestyle create action.
No.
Basketball and wrestling match in Iowa.
Yeah.
Well, there's a ton of schools now, and this will help as well. A ton of schools are going split season when it comes to like middle school and different stuff like that. There's a ton of traction where I don't know how I feel about this situation, and I don't know that it makes a ton of difference, but two-piece singlets rather than one-piece singlets. And people are saying, okay, if it's a singlet, then it's going to be a T-shirt and like athletic shorts.
How would that work? Like in swimming where they have like the Speedo bottom and then a tank top?
Do that. So you could do that, except for it'd be like a T-shirt style. Some people have them.
I feel like
and there's colleges that have them as well.
Weird.
But
they'll be awkward.
Why do they care?
Okay,
old school traditional rules.
Old school is the one piece. I think the big thing is it's an inclusion thing, and we're a body shaming society, so people get embarrassed by putting on a wrestling singlet. Is what it is. That's a legit thing. It's weird,
right? Maybe in high school and junior high though.
Wouldn't you be able to hold and do a lot more grabs if it's two piece? Because it's not.
Yeah, I mean that. So it's like an Under Armour. It's like an Under Armour T-shirt,
right?
And then you can either do like your Under Armour bottoms, or you could do like the fight shorts that UFC fighters wear.
So we're worried about. I mean, this is going to sound maybe insensitive, but I'm fat, so I don't care. Fat people are going to be embarrassed to wrestle.
There is definitely
or the opposite, or more inclusive because they can
more inclusive when you're wearing a two-piece
as opposed to the
singlet. But I mean you're not wearing a loose two-piece you're gonna be fat.
I think it falls in line with why like volleyball they have to wear those shorts always. Like that's the rule of volleyball. So you're fighting old school traditions.
Yeah.
The whole that whole thing came up in the Olympics with the bikini to shorts.
No, it's been there since we were in college and everything.
No, I know, but
indoor
this last Olympics
was a big deal.
When they chose they could do leggings. They said they could wear shorts or leggings or whatever. It's like those are still tight-fitting pants. You're still seeing but
at least it's not a
cheek.
Right, but there's
listen. I was gonna say bikini, but it's it's pretty cheeky.
At that point, those players have become so used to wearing that uniform that they won't change. And that's not to say that we shouldn't.
No, but at least have the option.
But like it
shouldn't be a rule.
But like everybody in high school wears tight, short shorts. And it's like, that's just what the volleyball uniform is. And it's like, but you watch dudes play volleyball, which has become like,
and they're in
dudes don't wear
basketball players.
Tight, short shorts. Right. They wear shorter shorts just for good.
But that's
like, I mean, what the hell are we doing here? Like,
there was traction with the 2-piece singlet there a little while back, and then it fizzled out, and they did it at like, so they call it a Who's Number One event where they have best high school wrestlers across the country wrestle each other, and they had some 2-piece singlets there. But even half of those, like part of it, like they didn't have to wear a shirt. Like you didn't have to wear a shirt.
Oh, you didn't even have to wear a shirt.
Exactly. You could wear just a
shorts.
shorts.
I wear a shooter sleeve?
Right.
Yeah.
I bet that'll start to like, like that's what it's going to.
Well, like that's the thing is like ultimately, and like that's with all professional sports, like there's baseball's the worst right now as far as like listening to their fans and evolving. NFL's the best. New rules coming out today. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit, but like
if we get there,
like, I mean, there's got to be a spot where we've got to come into the middle, and like that's where our society is terrible right now. Is that you're either here or you're here, and it's like at the end of the day, it doesn't flipping matter.
Right.
Like, let's get the entertainment product on the field. Let's do this. Like,
So I mean that brings up a perfect point of what you're talking about. You mentioned it earlier with March Madness and the changing out of the ball. Mm-hmm. Is the NCAA going to hear enough grief from coaches, players, different stuff where
it'll be a
all right,
different
you know
ball.
what, we messed up.
Right.
We'll wear that one. I mean, the NCAA won't say that.
But they got money from Wilson,
mistake.
so that's why they did it. Like,
the NCAA won't say that we made a mistake. That they'll just move on and say, okay, we're going to change. But yeah, so I think again,
I bet
it's got to be a for-profit for pro wrestling. Got to be a for-profit model, and somebody's got to understand how to run it like a business. Right. It can't just. Prior to, it was people who just loved wrestling.
They need to follow.
And it was love wrestling, which was great. You need a passion for something, but you also need to understand how to run a business and have business advisors, and they didn't have that.
They need Dana White. They need to run it like UFC to start.
Right.
There's a little cluster of there, which we're not getting into, but that's what they need to do, I believe, from the outside. Yeah. And I'd watch it. That'd be cool.
The thing that's tough with that is you got a lot of wrestlers that want to fight UFC. They want to fight a lot of UFC, and they want
around.
they want to fight a lot of UFC, and they want to go into the WWE because there's money there.
Where the money is.
Exactly.
That's professional wrestling.
That's the NIL. But
all right.
Who wants to get hit in the face? I mean, some people don't want to get hit in the face. I would have loved to do that had I not.
I don't want to get hit with a chair either, though. So.
Had I not broken my neck, maybe.
You're a quarterback,
I would have loved
so
to.
we get it.
Oh yeah,
I played quarterback as well.
Raise your hand if you want to get hit with a chair. That's what I thought.
For millions?
Oh,
for millions?
For millions.
Yeah, millions.
For millions?
Whatever.
Yeah. All right.
That's fine.
So
on to golf.
Well, we haven't even made our picks yet.
What are we? We gotta make
we're sticking.
We're staying all basketball.
Yeah. All basketball. Baby.
I forgot.
We don't want to try to come back. We might get into wrestling. We might get into wrestling again. Brian, he's eating the shit up.
I love it. I love it.
Hey, we are a podcast that, yes, it's football and golf dominated, but we're going to highlight wrestling. No one else talks about wrestling.
Exactly.
Well, let's be it.
I think the fun part about it is there's actually going to start being there's people that start to put out some lines every once in a while for some of these wrestling events and different stuff. So that's what's awesome. Like
Could you imagine betting on how many takedowns in a match?
Here's also
I'll take the under.
I'll take the under.
Here's the also
during the regular season. I'll take the over.
Yeah.
Here's also with wrestling, you have to serve booze at these events.
Well, absolutely. You should.
That's what it is. Like that's what it is, and we're seeing. I'm seeing a lot more
professional wrestling, absolutely. There's going to be booze.
Collegiate, they're all selling booze now. Well, for the other sports,
I'm just saying from a professional standpoint, there's not any professional teams that aren't selling booze.
But like some of these events, they just had them. Okay, buy a ticket, you go there. They have the concession stands at whatever venue that they're at. They might not have the booze. So there you have
just having the availability.
So they need bigger and better venues. Right. They haven't because they haven't had the following.
But they have them now. There's places now where you can bring your own vendor. You get exactly. So
all right, so back
Duke
to
versus UNC.
No, we got to go
Nova versus Kansas.
Yeah, you have to end with Duke UNC. Nova, Kansas.
Nova shoots better free throws.
Nova shoots better free throws.
Sticking through it?
Oh, yeah.
Nova also plays some pretty lockdown D. Nova also lost one of their top 2 or 3 players.
Yeah. Emotionally, this is how I think the game plays out. Emotionally, they're going to come out hot because of you losing a teammate. And that's a big deal.
Defensively or offensively?
I haven't decided that. Probably offensively. Probably defensively because defense travels and you get pissed off. Now, they probably will foul more, but end result, KU will pull it out. They're playing a little hotter. They don't have that. They didn't lose a person. Mm-hmm. That loss of a person will come in later in the game, in my opinion, not early on. That depth will show, and then KU will pull it out. As much as I don't want to say that, because I want you to lose your – I don't want you to pick the winner. I just don't want that.
That's
However,
fair.
In this game
the thing that really irritates me about that is that this is the only – of the 4 brackets I filled out, this is the only one that I didn't
and
that I
picked
less. Kansas in, which is the most meaningless because I just get a drink if I lose.
Not money.
The other ones I just lose money. So.
That makes me feel better. You know that? That actually makes me feel good inside. Go KU!
Yes.
Yeah. So you're taking Kansas as well?
Yeah, I don't really have too much to add to the Kansas side of things there. Like, I think they're a more balanced overall team, and I just don't know that.
Big Bill Self guy, huh?
And they have Youssef
Kansas
from
Big
Drake,
Bill Self guy, huh?
Go with him.
Again, March Madness comes down to coaching and coaching adjustments, and there's not many in the game better than Self when it comes to that. If you watch Kansas' second half of games when they don't play well in the first half, I mean,
yeah.
And I think to reiterate that, you're not saying that Jay Wright's a bad coach.
No, I think Jay Wright's
a great coach,
excellent coach,
but it's Bill Self.
I actually, of the coaches left, Jay Wright is my favorite of the 4. I just don't think that he has. I don't think they had the firepower to start to make it all the way through, and now with the injury, I think that they've done everything they could to get as far as they can.
Absolutely, he's healthy. Doesn't tear his Achilles. It's shooting percentage. That's fine.
Because
free throws.
If Nova
baby.
brings the lockdown and Kansas for a full game doesn't shoot, because I think Kansas just has to play well for a half to win this game.
Absolutely.
That's fair.
That's all they did in the last game. They won by 20.
Yeah.
And most likely it'll be the second half, again, to Stoy's point. So that's why I can't get away
Nova,
from Kansas there.
Nova, free throws.
The game of if everyone is conspiracy theorists. Right. So Duke, UNC for the ACC.
Yep.
Right. Didn't go Duke's way. The final home game for Coach K. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, all of a sudden, for the first time ever, Duke, UNC in March Madness.
Right,
and
but
it just
those
happens to be
same
Final Four.
Conspiracy theorists, and don't get me wrong, like I like I like a good conspiracy theory. I'll do a little research on it, just see if I how I feel about it or whatever, test the waters. But they've never played before.
Ever.
And like the whole basis of the tournament is like, when Bob Knight went to Texas Tech, they set him up against Indiana. And it's like somehow Duke and North Carolina haven't never played
except for Coach K's last
in the tournament.
Ever?
Like, do you know how many legendary coaches have gone through North Carolina in the time that Coach K's been at Duke?
Right. They would have picked
6.
one of them.
Like,
they would have picked one of those.
Figure it out. Roy Williams never played Coach K.
Yeah, but it's Coach. That's just Coach K.
Dean Smith never played. Really? We never set that up?
I know.
They never figured out how to play each other in the national championship?
But I love it.
So
I absolutely love how this game's going to go.
Right, and both teams are playing their best basketball.
Absolutely.
And Duke should have won the ACC championship too. They
did.
Pooped the bed.
But they definitely shouldn't when UNC played them at Duke for Coach K's last home game. UNC came out swinging.
Right.
They're just playing so hot. This game, to me, I truly wish this was the championship because of how hot both teams are right now, let alone the Coach K thing.
Right.
I just think it's to be a really, really fun game to watch. Is this the first or the night game?
I don't know. If it's not the night game, they made a mistake, though.
Well, I mean, it was already preset. They should flip it, just cause. In my opinion,
they play at 7:50 at night.
Yeah, is that the night
that's
game?
That's what I'm. I don't know if it is or isn't, but that's the right.
They've been
time.
starting games at 9:50.
Yeah, but that's prime time. Like that's the right time for them.
Yeah,
yep.
absolutely.
I don't know. I get this. That's probably the second or the.
They
first
start
game,
so Kansas Nova is at 5:09.
Okay, perfect. So it's great time. They didn't wait till 9 o'clock like some of these have been.
Thank goodness.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
This game is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And we even talked about it in the right order, guys. Look at us.
Yeah.
We so smart.
We knew.
We good.
Well, they'd have been idiots if they didn't. So
yeah.
Yeah. Cole? Thoughts?
North Carolina plays 6 dudes. At the end of the day, North Carolina's best player is their point guard. Duke's second best player is their point guard. So North Carolina definitely wins there. North Carolina's second best player is Manick from Oklahoma. He's a forward.
Ooh, over their
big guy.
Big guy?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Bacote, yeah,
whatever.
he brings a different level of
Yeah.
physicality, but I don't.
Okay.
Manick's more skilled, can score in bunches
Right.
better.
Absolutely.
I think Duke can neutralize the inside game and Manick better than UNC can neutralize Boncaro and their point guard, which I'm completely drawing a blank on until I wasn't. But it just came to me. And Duke has more depth. So Duke's going to play 8 guys-ish. North Carolina's going to play 6. If you get any foul trouble, North Carolina gets in a lot more trouble a lot sooner. I don't know. The thing is with like making it to a Final Four, and I think this happens a lot, is that the Final Four games are actually a lot of the times better than the Elite 8 games.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so much pressure to make it to a Final Four. Once you've made it to a Final Four, teams are usually playing a little. Now this brings a whole nother. Obviously, you've got the Coach K so like that brings some pressure to Duke. But I think Duke has played through all of that.
I think they've already played through it personally.
All from what they've dealt with. So that's why I think they're playing their best basketball right now. And Duke is more talented.
Yeah.
And to me, it's really not that close on a talent discrepancy standpoint. And can I get after you, or are you going to get after me more? Duke is way more fit to be able to get after North Carolina in a game like this than the opposite.
Also,
I'm hoping for a good game, but I think
It'll
Duke
be a good game
actually
for a while.
might
I
win
bet
by double digits.
they probably will.
Win.
And I think the
Everything
difference
comes down to it.
to the double digits piece, aside from depth and all that, if they get in foul trouble, UNC, I think it's over. Coaching. So we talk about players being in the Final Four and all of that. This coach, first time, wherever he's at, now against Coach K, who will be the calmest person probably. No, he'll be the calmest person probably there because of where he's been. I think he will just out-coach him. And I'm sure he has things that he has been sitting on for a very long time to pull out against UNC specifically, since UNC should know him like the back of his hand. And I believe like Duke will be in it or up most of the game and pull it out late for double digits. And it really comes down to Coach K and the fact that they have more depth too, personally. And Ryan, rolling with?
Free throws, baby. North Carolina.
As long as Bacote doesn't have to shoot free throws, you're in good shape.
So they are
Hack-a-Shack
1-1.
there.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
I mean, obviously, it was a tale of a tale of 2 games when Duke beat them by 20 in February and UNC beat them by 13 in the ACC championship
now that to me,
or ACC tournament. Sorry,
to me that was purely based upon the nerves that Cole just alluded to of that team saying we got to win the championship for Coach K. I think they've beaten that to a pulp at this point, and they're just playing basketball.
Yeah, I
You're
can
not going
agree.
off at anything but free throws. So
Exactly.
like, what are you breaking down here?
Yeah, what are you trying to say?
I don't know. I was trying to come up with
trying to
something.
talk
If it
yourself out of
wasn't
this.
free
No.
throws, would you pick Duke?
If it wasn't free throws, I would pick. Actually, let me do some math here.
Oh, jeez.
God.
Let me just say
You need
something
a
about the
refill?
coaching perspective.
Yes, I would pick Duke because in their 2 games, Duke has averaged 4 points more than what North Carolina has.
Okay, there we go.
Straight from the wrestler's mouth. All right, so we've got Ryan with a UNC Nova matchup.
Come on.
Me and you with the Duke Kansas matchup.
And we're tied.
Oh, yeah.
We got to do tiebreaker score. It's the only way because we are tied.
No, I'll
we're
let
winning.
you pick the national champion, and I'll take the other.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But let's let him go because he's complete opposite of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So let's talk about the game for you because it's not the same championship as us.
So how's your North Carolina Nova game coming? Honestly, that sounds like shit. I'll be honest.
It does not sound good.
It's a free throw battle, baby.
No, I really think you.
And so Nova's taking it down because
Nova
they're
is the best free throw shooting team in the country.
Yeah.
That's a good recap of that game. Duke, Kansas.
Yeah. About that yawner.
Yeah.
Jay Wright versus, is it Hubert Davis? Am I right?
I don't even know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Jay Wright.
Yeah.
Jay
Jay
Wright.
Wright.
Give me
All
Jay
day.
Wright.
Free throws
day.
all day
All
long.
right.
He's your
All right.
favorite.
Duke,
He's your
Kansas.
favorite Final Four guy.
That's fair.
Duke, Kansas.
Duke, Kansas.
I think that one's a solid matchup in terms of everything that we just said. And, KU does have some depth. For those that don't know, that Drake has a former player on KU right now.
Who doesn't play at all?
Who doesn't he plays maybe 1 and maybe 2 minutes.
I haven't seen him play in the tournament.
I have.
Or not in the last 2 rounds of the tournament.
Correct.
Excuse me.
Correct. But that's really all I got to say about that. I got to ride with Coach K. I think he's going to ride down the sunset.
Destiny, huh?
Destiny
All
is what it is.
I'll take the experience of KU and their second half dominance, which is what it's been in the tournament. That being said, Duke has been phenomenal in the last 8 to 10 minutes of the last 2 games when they really mattered. That's when Duke's played their best. So flip a coin on that. I'll take the experience of Kansas and the coaching of Self over
I was going to say who out coaches who.
K, because I don't think that Coach K coaches that much anymore. Personal opinion, I think he's Joe Pa.
But does he in these games?
He's passed the torch already.
You think?
No, absolutely.
He probably has for the last
He
couple
stands
years,
up and
by the way.
he buddies officials more than he does any type of X's and
The
O's.
blocking call on the one official got me. That was cracked me up.
Watch how many
Did you guys see that?
Watch how many shoulder hugs
clearly didn't.
and laughs he tries to get. Like, I'll set the number at 4 and over under
All over it.
point taken.
Like, I don't know if you guys watched the game,
Like,
but
watch,
when did you guys see?
So watch Hubert Davis versus Coach K. K will have at least 3 more ref shoulder hugs than Hubert Davis. And then if they make it to the championship, Self versus Coach K, and I would even say like 5 or more. Like that
absolutely.
He would
If that
have
was a bet,
himself.
we could do.
Yeah.
DraftKings,
So,
let's go. FanDuel,
Prop bets for the
bets.
NCAAs.
I'll take that.
Coach ref hugs.
I bet he does. If we consider him coaching at all, most is a practice, pregame speech, halftime speech.
Right. I
Maybe some adjustment to a play because of his experience, but you're right. I believe in the last couple of years he's given that torch over.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Shire's there for. That's why he's taken over the program.
Exactly. So,
But ultimately, K has been in all of the moments, Olympics. So he's coached the best in the world.
Yeah.
2 gold medals. And he's coached a program from pretty much nothing in Duke and brought them to the prominence they are today as a blue blood. And they get the best recruits every year. You know, they're a handful of programs. And K has done that, and he understands the moment itself and can hopefully, like, I think that's why those young kids being there in the AC, like them losing the ACC championship was the
only
best
reason
thing
where
for
they're
this
at.
run.
Absolutely. 100%.
Because they realized, and Kay probably emphasized this, of like, guys, like, yes, I did a tour for myself because ultimately he did, but like ultimately that doesn't matter. Like,
right.
You're not going to, my best 2 players aren't going to be here. I'm not going to be here. Like, go be the best damn players in the country.
Right.
And like, that's what they've done. They've shown out, and all of their guys in different ways have shown out,
bet-
not just one.
I'd
of
be
them.
deep down inside the ACC run as well as the championship in the last game. I believe he wanted it to happen per se, but was definitely 100% okay with how that went.
Right.
Because he could prepare for what's happening.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it.
Don't disagree with that at all.
So, all right.
Rock chalk, baby.
Well, at least we have 3 different champs. There's that, guys. We're doing good.
We're not leaving this the same.
Hey, Brian does have to lead by 1, though.
Score
You have to
tiebreaker.
lead by
Overall.
1. You could legitimately go into championship weekend out of it. So there's that.
Or
Yeah.
like, we're gonna know.
We're going to know. Yeah, we're going to know.
Like, I mean,
We're gonna know real quick.
If one of his 2 teams wins, I guess now
We have a
then-
shot.
Then I guess the other one of us would be out. So
Yeah.
yeah. No, that makes for a fun weekend.
Yeah, it does.
Come on.
Or doesn't for
Or
him.
it doesn't. Yeah.
For us, it will be.
I mean, he doesn't care. He's a wrestler.
Yeah,
It's
he's
fine.
a wrestler. It's fine.
Like,
And he's also losing.
He's playing with house money at this point.
House money, or I mean, look, what's the overall shitty shot right now?
That's fine.
Did you include basketball in these shitty shots?
I haven't.
Oh,
Yeah. Because that's a part I've actually done well at.
yeah.
I haven't had a basketball shitty shot yet.
No, but bamboo. You need some bamboo?
Yeah, we could do a quick bamboo cap top off.
He hasn't taken a drink in like
How's your Texas bourbon?
45 minutes. Is it? Is it watered down at this point?
Yeah,
Do you need a nipple for
It's
that?
better that way.
Hey,
Sippy.
chat and chug.
Chat and chug.
Yeah.
Quick chug.
My ears are starting to sweat.
It's because we talked wrestling. You got excited.
Hey,
Did you get a chubby?
No, he got
quarter.
He went full.
You went full. I do have.
Chris Williams today on KXNO on my way in here.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I saw the new Top Gun trailer and got fully aroused. Like, said that on the radio. I'm like, what? Like, he's like, and I'm kind of being serious. I'm like, whoa, like, that's
There's some.
Top Gun, huh? That's what does it for you.
Iowa's making some big moves for wrestling. The state of Iowa, high school. What's that?
I have to do Sam's Club pickup tonight. 7 to 8 p.m.
I have never done that.
My wife does the Hy-Vee.
Ivy Isles
I've
online.
never done it, so tonight's the first night.
We either do pick up at Hy-Vee or we stop into the local Fairway.
Fairway, I haven't been to Fairway in a while.
It's nice. The meat department is.
I do have
Top.
I have $280 to Fairway.
Yeah. You should definitely use it on meat.
I'm exclusively
Yeah.
going to do that some point this summer.
Fairway. We have
Maybe we
meats.
have. Maybe we have a. That's Arby's.
Yeah, but I mean, Fairway actually has the meats.
Maybe we do a podcast this summer. We'll just smoke meats all day and drink and pass out before the meat gets done and
Right.
see what happens with the kids and stuff.
Have a,
All right, Cole. Do you have
I still have a
your?
kid.
Do you have your bracket?
my
Oh, yeah, we need to fill in the
I have it
gaps.
pulled up.
All right.
so
Let's go. Let's go.
So, do you want me to just give you
Your sixth.
my 16? Because that will tell you like who I had in advancing.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready.
I have your 16.
You have who I had
We need-
advancing to the 16?
Yeah. Rom and Lowry. We need the next.
Yeah, I need the next.
So who made it to the quarters?
Who'd be? Yeah.
Yeah, the quarters.
So the quarters, I only had 2. I had Kistner and Scheffler. All the way to...
Oh. Well,
That was the only 2 that I had
that makes
advance.
that makes it a lot easier.
So, like, I didn't do well, but I did well.
Yeah.
Also, I'll let you know, I fill a women's bracket out every year. Just
I forgot to this
Side
year.
note. I picked the Final Four. Not that it was difficult. It's
No,
3.
it usually
it's,
isn't.
It's 3 1 seeds and a 2. But, I mean, it's usually a random. So, I am in the 99th percentile of ESPN brackets.
You gonna win money?
I don't, really play for, I'm not going to, like, there's
I didn't
whatever,
know.
a
Is
million
your
brackets.
challenge different?
It's a challenge, but like you just get ranked with all of the people that filled up. But I'm in there's a fire emoji next to my name in the women's bracket. So like every time I open it up, I get a little excited.
Did you have Scotty making it to the finals or anything like that?
I had in the finals
Casey.
We knew you had Casey winning.
Yep, I had Scheffler, Casey in the finals,
And then
You
who'd you have
did.
third place?
and then I had Kistner third place
Kistner third place winner.
because he lost
Against?
to. I had him against Rom.
So you had Kistner beating Hovland,
I had Kistner beating Rom.
but you had Kistner beating Hovland early.
Yeah, because he had Kisner all the way through.
I had Kisner getting third.
Wow.
And then I had Scheffler getting first.
Wow.
Or Scheffler getting second.
Kisner got
He got 4. He got second. Because
yeah.
he lost
He lost.
before he got... In my bracket, he lost to Casey before he got...
all right. So I got to recount this now.
So what we're trying to decide between is, do we go with the one and done pick and how far they went, and that's
Right.
what we base it on, or do we do the points?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're, I believe, vastly different. So, what do we
Yeah.
like? Does Shitty Shot go with your one and done, or does it go with overall points,
Or is it both?
or is it both?
And I feel like in our podcast, it's both.
Well, that means me and you, bud.
All right.
Because
Well, hang on. I got to recount. I got to recount Cole's.
if it's a tie goes to both of you taking it.
That's fair.
Just saying.
That makes sense.
It's going to be my second golf one. God bless it.
Who did you pick outright?
Horschel, which I won the outright,
Yeah.
but lost the points.
Points. And who'd Ryan have?
He got second. I'll know.
I had JT.
Who didn't even make the round of 16.
No. And the reason that
But you had more points.
Tiebreaker was Casey.
Right.
Because Casey decided.
No,
that was the.
So you had 1, 2.
Did you guys have any finalists?
No.
Yeah, I had DJ.
But DJ got 4th.
Or sorry, I didn't have any finalists.
No finalists.
Gotcha. But I had both the finalists. No, I had
You
2
had
out of 3
1
spots.
finalist.
You had 1.
Yeah, but I had 2 of the top 4.
Well, okay. Final 4.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes, correct.
And did you guys have 2 of the top? Did
No.
you have 2 of the top 4?
No.
Yeah, DJ. He had 1 of the top 4. I had 0.
No Scheffler, no Kiss.
How I was counting these is how many you got right personally. So
Right.
How many
Rom,
picks were right?
Scotty, Horschel,
I had 5 out of 16, and then I had
Kiz,
2 out of 4.
and then Kisner in that round, Scotty in that round, Scotty again. Kisner
Like the only reason I
again.
would have a lot of points is because my
So
people.
you went
Scotty
10.
and
You went 10
Yeah.
because your picks
Yeah, I
went
was
so
going to
far.
say, he had to have won because of Kisner and Scotty. So we have the shitty shots.
But then
I have a
I
shitty shot.
I got last place. I have to have a shitty shot.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got a
The
shitty
guy
shot.
I picked was the only guy who
So-
didn't golf all
So
day.
you have a shitty shot for last on the one and done.
for Paul Casey being a
for Paul
bitch.
Casey being a little bitch. And then I got it because I got 6 points. You got 10 and he got 9 in terms of the bracket.
Right. So you and
Not
I
a
have the
great
shitty
week.
shot.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Can you update the shitty shot counter? I'm at 2.
Cole's at 4
Escalating quickly. Well, I'm at 1 for. We're talking about. He's at 2 for.
He's at 2 for
Johnny Walker Gold Label Reserve Warm.
He's at 2 overall. You're at 4 for the golf.
I got peaches. I don't. Peaches. I'll take the peaches. I think I'll take the peaches.
Okay, so now that you guys heard us break down these brackets, we'll
I'm not going to do good.
I'm not gonna
like this.
I'm gonna keep going as you guys start taking these.
Yeah, you.
The worst part is like last night I was laying down in bed and tried to lay down early because for some reason like my lymph nodes were swollen. So I keep like all day been watering like you're going to throw up. Been battling for a good 18 hours.
Yeah. And now.
Okay, so I'm
you're gonna
looking
have
at
to water
this.
again.
So starting with pool play.
This is going to be bad. Huh?
We didn't starting with pool play here as you guys are taking your shots. I'm just gonna start breaking down stuff from this. We overall did okay. It's really hard to pick one of 4 golfers and then have them go on, especially in this format, because
I don't even know if these two
They might have
did
played-
cheers, but cheers.
they might have played really, really well on 1 or 2 of their days, but then they lost in a playoff. For example, Zalatoris' putter was unreal for a little while. And there was one putt that I specifically remember watching. It was when he was playing Na in his playoff, and I saw his putter on a 4 or 5 footer
Does the
move
Z-
like
does the
6.
Z.
Yeah, and then he made it. And what I was surprised on is Na conceded a putt to Zalatoris, which was fine. I think he was like 15 inches. It was a pretty close putt. But then Na goes like 2 feet 8 inches, and Zalatoris made him putt it. Which, I mean, if you could potentially win it and he's like, okay, he's gonna make this, like
Right.
this, you know. So that one, I think a couple surprises though coming out of those first ones. I mean, you had Richard Bland.
I mean, the number one surprise because if he beat DJ, he would have qualified for the Masters, and now he has to win this week.
Yeah, so Richard
kinda
Bland
sucks.
was a
By the way,
huge one.
DJ did what we said DJ would do.
Dude's a Masters.
If he gets hot,
phenom. Yeah, but he's starting to become like with his age.
DJ.
He's starting to become like Masters. Excuse me. Match play is starting
Masters
to become
on your
like
mind?
the Ryder
Masters?
Cup, President's Cup. Like those things start to become, I feel like, more important.
the
like-
Tiger mindset,
Right, just like
play for the big ones.
You don't want to play DJ. Like he's starting to become the next. Sergio played well again this week.
He did.
Those types of guys, Kistner, obviously that's why. Like, those guys are known for the different things they can do on a course to cause players to think about what they're doing instead of focus on their own game. And like that was Kistner's. That's Kistner's whole thing is distract the other guy, make him think about what
he
I'm doing.
He legitimately said,
and he says
I'm
that
going
after,
to be annoying.
Right. So
walking
you know,
in front of
whether
guys.
that's not,
Golf etiquette.
Yes, right. Like taking etiquette to the edge, but also just little things of like how they make shots and being shot makers.
Yeah.
Whether that's chipping in, whether that's just little things like he's always going to be shorter, so he's always playing first, which is an advantage from the fairway in match play.
Right.
And also when you have makeable putts on the green, if you're 12 feet away versus 6 feet away and you make the 12-footer, that 6-footer becomes a completely different. And that's why I was actually surprised and impressed with Zalatoris' putter, because that guy putted the shit out of it this week compared to what he has, and that's why he was successful too. But
and he needed that going into the Masters probably more than anyone. Now he played well last year, but you go into Augusta with the yips or shaky or whatever you want to call it. Nah, you're not. It's not gonna be good.
Agree with that.
Another guy that played really, really well, and a guy that we didn't have, a guy that we didn't have
expecting that though.
A lot of knowledge on, Takumi Kanaya.
Yeah, he got lucky with the group he was in, though.
I mean, I don't necessarily say no to that, but he still played well.
No, he didn't fold to the pressure. I completely agree.
He still played well, and I think this is for me, looking at the event, we weren't sure, obviously, if it fit him. I had heard some talk about him, obviously being the number 1 amateur player last year, all this different stuff. But this is an event where I think it'd be harder to jump into rather than just playing a traditional stroke play, what you're used to.
Right.
And
I mean, a lot of it comes down to comfort level too, and just overall, a lot of the draw is luck, and then like you look at a guy. So Thomas Peters, what group was he in? I can't even remember at this point. He played. Yeah, so he was in Horschel's group.
Yeah.
Thomas Peters was 15 under.
Yeah.
And did not make it.
He was 15 under?
He led the field of 64 at 15 under par in 3 rounds of golf. So he averaged 5 birdies around. It was 5 under a round. And didn't make it because of the group he was in. If he was in any of 6 or 7 other groups, he would have been 3-0, and he was 2-0-1. I'm pretty sure, but he didn't advance because Horschel was 2-1-0.
Yeah,
and that wasn't even a playoff one. Like Peters didn't even get a chance to play off. Right. He literally just lost a match that he shouldn't have, and I say he shouldn't have.
That's insane.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he led the field in best stroke play score, and didn't even make it to the round of 16. So like that tells you just how. Like the group that Richard Bland was in, for example, was garbage. That was the Bryson, Gooch. I don't even remember who the other person was in it. But, like, they were terrible. Like, that just wasn't a good group. And so, like, if Peters was in that group, he would have gone 3-0, and he would have been. So, like, a lot of that is just luck of the draw as well as that, there's 16 groups.
Is there any improvement to that, you believe, in that?
No, but that's the beauty of the WGC is that like they know the format going in, and you've got to find a way to get into the 16, and from there, that's if the guys that we pick, like once you get to 16, like if we were able to take a look at the 16 and get in, I feel like you got a lot better chance of because like JT and Kisner were in the same. So like the reason that you guys didn't have Kisner and I did was I thought Kisner would find a way to make it to the whereas like. JT was one good round away from maybe doing the exact same thing Kisner did. Like, that's not to say that because when you get into that, now that's closer to the Ryder Cup mentality once you're into the 16 than the group of 64 is. So that's the tough thing with the WGC is that, like,
that makes sense.
Yes, it's match play, but it's group play. So it's like, well, if I shoot 8 on, like, I think Richard Bland tied Bryson and they were both like 3 or 4 over par. Yeah. And they both got half a point technically or a tie. And it's like literally better? Anybody else that day that would have played them would have beat either one of them. Like nobody shot a worse round. Right. But at the end of the day, it's match play. So find a way to tie your opponent.
Kisner's second round.
But that's the thing. Like
did you see Kisner's second round? Like he started on the
him and JT's round. Kisner
Here you go.
Is this what you're talking
that's
about?
what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
Through 8 holes, Kistner was 3 up or 4 up?
I don't remember specifically on that.
And
but
JT was 4 under.
Yep.
But Kistner was like 6 under.
Because Kistner went like birdie, eagle, birdie or some crazy thing.
So JT would have beat literally almost anyone else in the field.
It was just
except for Kistner.
Except for the guy.
And so, but that's what ultimately
sweet.
what it comes down to, and like that's why it's so hard. And this year was like, I think of the 16, I want to say like 11 of the top seeds advanced, or the highest number in a while of top seeds advanced to. So like, whereas last year was the lowest number. Like there was only one. Rahm was the only top 16 seed to advance to the round of 16 last year, and this year was almost the exact opposite. So there's not anything numbers wise or analytics wise.
I love it. Really I love me some match play. I wish they would do more tournaments like we talked about last week. 2 match plays. I think they should do what I'm saying in regards to this is the average player or players, they come together and they play some type of game.
Right.
A match play is it takes a lot of handicaps out.
Right.
It can.
It brings a lot of excitement in from shot making.
That's fun. And so to see that more often, I think is what golf needs. I think it'll start to come. Golf is probably the slowest adapter of all the sports.
Yeah. I mean, did you see the rule this week?
Absolutely. What?
The crazy golf rule that happened. So they happened in match play that can't happen in stroke play. So I actually believe it was Thomas Peters, hit a ball in regulation onto the edge of a green where they had spray painted the red hazard line on a sprinkler head. So the grass on the edge of the sprinkler head was actually folded over from the wind or something onto the sprinkler head.
Painted red.
His ball came to rest on the sprinkler head, but laying against the grass that was
painted red.
Incorrectly painted red because it should have been like an inch or 2 off. He had to play the ball off the sprinkler head. Ended up losing the hole, ended up winning the match, so ultimately didn't end up coming. Later in the round, so after that happened, they talk about it, whatever. They go out and repaint the line where it's supposed to be. Bryson does the exact same thing.
And can get the relief.
And gets the relief. Literally 3 matches later. So that can only happen in match play because it only affects your individual match.
Yeah, because that's your round.
So but if they had spray painted it wrong on a tour event, everyone that landed on that sprinkler end would have wrongly been penalized because of a paint job.
See, that's
the PGA in a nutshell.
So
that's why the Saudi League is making that is literally why those things are being
the fact
talked
that the
about.
rule book's this thick,
right,
all that crap.
All of those things together. But yeah, ultimately that happened this weekend. So
whose ball was it that went between the bulkheads? I forgot whose it was. I watched it on Twitter. It was freaking hilarious. They're like, oh, his ball,
it's wedged,
it disappeared.
Right,
it went between the two.
Well, and then
that's why you make the red, not the water, the grass.
The way that they have the hospitality tent set up there, they had 2 short par 4s. Well, the hospitality tent is facing one green and another green, but the green's short enough that players were literally taking driver and hitting it into the hospitality tent on purpose to get a drop at the relief. Green.
Yeah.
So Patrick Reed almost took out 2 high-paying customers in the hospitality tent because it was far right. But basically he hit a 280-yard drive on the fly that flew into the hospitality tent and hopped over these 2 people's heads.
And he can go
and he gets a drop
inside
back to 10 yards away from the green. Yep. And so players are literally trying to hit it off the backboard of these hospitality tents. And it's
is that golf?
That's not even PGA issue. That's just an event issue as far as you've got to be careful from a fan interaction standpoint.
Was it Poulter? Poulter did something similar. He hit it towards it. It came to rest. His relief, he had to take onto the cart path based off of his club lengths. He had to take it onto the cart path. And then he dropped, and then he had to get it off the cart path. And then he was on a little bit of a slope, so he was dropping it perfectly. And it was rolling into the cart path, so then he set it perfectly where he wanted to. Puts one close. I think he birdies the hole.
Right.
Now, granted, I think they tied the hole. I can't remember. He might have been playing. I think he was playing Scotty Scheffler at this point. But it was just one of those
little
things.
stuff like that. That's like it's so tedious, and
But I believe that's what frustrates all the most fans because their everyday golf has nothing to do with the majority of the rules that we see.
Right, and there's a lot of it that's brought into play because the PGA is old
The
school.
PGA, yeah.
And there's also a lot of it that's brought into play because
By definition, good old boys club.
the PGA, but this whole the fan stands, this is going back to the Waste Management Open and stuff like that. Is when you start bringing the fans into play, things change that you and I are never going to experience on a golf course, and also the fact that the good part about match play of that whole thing is that those players on holes where they feel like they're out of it or they feel like they need to make a birdie are actually going to take shots that you and I would take on, we're going to risk it.
Yeah.
Hey, I paid for my round.
I'm going to go for it.
I'm going to go for it. I'm not here to lay up.
Yeah.
I paid $50
Keegan
for my
Bradley's
18 holes in the cart.
Keegan Bradley's shot. Did you guys see
yes,
that one?
That was
split the
incredible.
trees, running up the fairway.
I would probably say that's the best. What I saw, best shot of the tournament.
Yeah,
It was
don't disagree.
insane.
And there were a bunch of chip ins and stuff like
Absolutely,
that.
but that one was
I mean, Scheffler.
an everyday shot that we'd be like,
The
Wait,
par
you wanna go this
5,
way?
though, in the championship round, Scheffler versus Kistner, Scheffler has a 12-yard chip from the fringe, chips it into the bunker, but then makes the bunker shot.
which was insane.
When he's +3 and has a chance, Kistner's got to be thinking, all right, I got a chance to get it 2, ends up pushing the hole
Right.
with a birdie. When
With that
Scheffler should
birdie.
have, we would have made a double bogey, triple bogey, been pissed off that we hit it in the bunker.
Well, to be fair, we probably wouldn't have left
Yeah.
it in the bunker. It would have been somewhere further. It would not
right.
have been.
Well,
as
I probably
cute.
would have had putter out and tried to get it within 12 feet so that I could lag up for a par. But
The bunker was not in play
but
for us.
that's what match play brings into
Yeah.
play is just how aggressive on a second shot or after a
Yeah,
missed shot those guys can be and how creative they can be. So that's where the excitement comes in. But the unexcitement comes in of if both guys are playing crappy golf, nobody wants to watch two guys play crappy golf.
Wait, was that
For
a
a full
teaser? Is that a teaser for our Masters show? Is there a teaser? Do we go match play? Anyways, on to the conversation.
Cole birdie and I'll go bogey or triple bogey, and
All right,
then
hey.
I'll go par and
All right,
Cole
we
might bogey.
move on. We're on to the Valero at this point.
So
we're prepping for
On
the
to
Masters.
San Antonio, to the Alamo.
To the Alamo, which did not end well, actually. But hey, it's pre-Masters week,
pre-Masters,
which is always the Valero.
yes.
Have you ever been to the Alamo?
No, I don't. I mean,
San Antonio is actually. Have you ever been to San Antonio?
For a couple hours.
Never been to the Riverwalk?
Well,
or anything like
I
that?
spend most of my time in Austin, Houston, and Dallas.
So
Iowa State played there a couple years ago, right?
Yep.
Who gives a shit?
They've got the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
I
No
mean,
one
San
cares
Antonio as a
State.
tourist, I would actually highly recommend San Antonio.
I have
Is
a
there
buddy
good
who
golf
works
there?
I have a buddy who's
I think we just take the
sales
wide.
I'm
manager.
just saying,
Right?
from a perspective of
I mean, there's TPC San Antonio. That's a
the
pretty good golf
Riverwalk's
course.
cool.
That was the hint.
We might as well Valero Open 2023. Here we come.
Come
It's
on.
probably an easy tournament to get into. I can get some tickets.
Let's go.
I mean, nobody's trying to knock down the door to get into San Antonio to watch golf.
You're right.
And especially because it's the week before the Masters, so
Yeah.
everybody's prepping.
By the way, we also have to do a Phoenix Open. No,
Waste
have to.
management. Yeah.
yes, sorry.
yes,
WM.
WM.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
One, because my uncle lives there, but two, because it's on my birthday weekend.
Yeah, San
We have to.
Antonio, it's a kind of a hidden gem. I've been there twice. But yeah, there's some good food there. The Riverwalk's really cool, underrated.
I've heard it's really
underrated. And then just San Antonio in general it's a
So if you guys
cool
didn't
place.
know, golf
So
this week
we're-
is in San Antonio.
So we're doing it next year.
So TPC San Antonio.
Should we do like most YouTube people? If we get 10,000 likes,
Yeah.
if we get 5,000 subscribers,
So TPC San Antonio, the Oaks course, Greg Norman design, San Antonio, Texas, obviously. Total yardage, right around 7,450. It's a par 72. Got 4 par 5s, 4 par 3s. Most of those par 5s are close to 600 yards, so it's going to be
For the long
hard
hitters.
to get. Yeah, it's for long hitters. Average on these, some of the lowest scoring par fives on tour. Average is barely under par. Par threes range anywhere from 183 yards, kind of average that you typically see, all the way up to 240 plus. So some long par threes there. Looking at fairways, they are tree lined again. We're seeing that common theme here because it's a Greg Norman, Pete Dye. It's a common theme on their courses. They get more narrow the longer you hit the ball, and these fairways are some of the hardest to hit on tour. This course has notoriously been over years.
I love the Nah stat. I love
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
me some Kevin Nah.
So 56% of tee shots have hit the fairway.
and they'll replay it how many times this week
absolutely.
of his 16 on 9.
Absolutely. Greens.
I feel it.
Greens are average in size. There's multiple tiers, undulations. Champion Bermuda overseeded with POA. Cracks.
It's POA.
You know where a lot of POA is? A lot of grass?
POA grass? Hawaii?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Should we make that happen?
I mean,
We should make that happen.
so the big thing around the greens is there's short grass right around them. The fringes are really, really short, so mishits can run off into bunkers, into collection areas, wherever. Hazards-wise, there's some fairway bunkers and some green surrounding bunkers. Water comes into play on a few different holes that you have to actually carry to get to the green. The native areas are something to watch, and that's where the Kevin Na stat comes in. We saw Kevin Na hit into the native areas because he was just wild on a tee shot. He ended up taking a 16 on hole 9, I believe is what it was.
Hey, real quick for the golfers that aren't quite tour there. We're not quite there.
Right.
Have you ever taken a 16 on any hole? A 16.
I don't
Have
think
I
so.
written a 16 down? No.
Have you ever
But I don't think I've even
attempted or hit a 16?
No, like I just don't think I would have hit that many shots. Like I would have dropped somewhere.
Or you would have just conceded and said, okay, I'm going to take a 8 or a 10 or whatever. Yeah.
Legitimately never.
Like that's the tough part about that is
My
just
worst
like
score's
the
11.
rules
What's your
like,
worst?
You got to keep playing.
My
the
worst
thing
is
like
like a 12.
the pros
Legit
have
a
to
12.
keep
No,
playing.
I get it. So, I mean, maybe we do that for a round. But I'm saying, like, what is your legit worst score?
I mean, I've hit 3 balls in the water before. So,
Where? Here? Locally?
I mean, probably like maybe TCI.
So we go to TCI next?
Right. Like, I mean, you know what I
got some
mean?
free
You have
rounds.
some credits.
We got some credits. Let's go to TCI.
But like a
Watch
lot
you
of
hit it
those
in the water
public
3 times.
courses like have there's a like they have pace of play stuff. So like they have a drop zone that wouldn't necessarily exist on the PGA Tour.
I agree.
I agree. So like
you always add I mean, take your worst, add 3 or 4 shots.
I don't.
So then I would have
remember
taken a
ever-
16 on a
I don't
hole.
ever
Because I would.
remember taking more than a 10.
I think
or
the
maybe a
worst, the
12.
absolutely worst is like when I was just like first starting, I think I took a 12. on a
So
hole.
legitimately, and if we just use 3 to 4 shots because of all the rules and all that stuff, we'd be right in line with that.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine that watching a tour pro?
Because even
And
if you like think about
good
like 17 at TPC Sawgrass, like there's a drop zone. So like you hit it in the water. So 1 in, 2 out. You're chipping 3 from 100 yards. Let's say that we would have hit that in the water. So like that's 4 in, 5 out. We're hitting from the same drop area. 6 on and a 3 putt's still only 9.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know,
so
like I mean that like just to put it in perspective of
Yeah.
like par 5, that's driver in the drink or driver out of bounds into the white, so you're re-teeing.
Is
Like 16's impressive.
is copper 10 the trees the forest that's in play on your second shot? Is that red or white? I don't remember.
Those are
I
all-
know left
everything's
is red. Okay.
Everything's
So you
red
could
on 10.
essentially the equivalent for us in Iowa would be you could get in there, and God knows if you could
Right.
find it.
But even then, like
The surprise was the fact that he found his ball.
that is.
He probably didn't want to find his ball.
if we went
right, but you can
copper
at that
10,
point you get a free drop.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know that I've ever
I mean, not
hit
free
a
drop.
first.
Sorry, a 1-stroke drop,
Yeah.
which you just take it out and hit it.
I don't know
Why
that.
didn't he do that? Do we ever know?
I mean, but that's
to be fair, he was out of the tournament, I think, at that point anyway.
so he's going for it.
Like at that point, are you saying if he doesn't find it?
No, like at that point, if he's able to hit it, it's red. Because if it's white, it doesn't matter if he finds it or not.
True.
So like he's hitting it out of an area where he should pick up the damn ball and go to your nearest point of relief
and just be done with it. But I think,
take your stroke.
if I remember correctly, he was out of the tournament at that point.
Absolutely.
He was not going to make the cut or any of that, and he was just like,
I'd have to think about that because I actually just saw something.
Most of his shots, if you see it, he literally did.
That's the other thing too.
It's frustration.
Like if I find my ball and I take a swing at it and I hit it and it doesn't go anywhere, I'm picking that fucker up and I'm dropping
first
it.
of all, just drop the F-bomb.
Yep.
And second of all, you did not do that on our first round this year.
It was right. But I'm just
you
saying.
didn't do it. So don't lie to the.
I didn't. No, I'm just saying that I'm not taking the stroke.
Oh, I thought you meant. Okay.
I'm trying to get it out of there because it's gonna be. I'm just saying
Just saying though, our first round.
What did I do?
Hole 9. Hit into the little.
And I tried to hit out of it
under ice, but you didn't pick it up. You just kept playing.
No, I took all the strokes though.
Oh yeah.
He did. He did do that.
Yeah.
I took every stroke that
you did.
I earned every one of those.
Oh, you did.
But I'm just saying,
great round. Up
normally
till
saying from a perspective of first of all, we can't keep handicapping Iowa until April 1st, so I didn't have.
So
to
it didn't
record
matter.
That.
It didn't. It was
so
not on
I was
record?
the nah of that. But even then, it was 7 strokes less than what you're talking about. No, actually, it was 9 strokes left because I only got a 7 on that hole. So, that's a lot. That's a lot of swinging the club.
So to keep that, that's wow.
So the 16 up for grabs.
So to keep going, other details kind of about this course and little tidbits here. Courses notoriously in the past, just prior to the Masters, are trying to mimic Augusta. So shorter, rough, and then it's important to get up and down off of greens.
12 to 16 centimeters, probably.
This one I think was at 11.5.
Mm-hmm. But they won't probably touch it all weekend.
Exactly. So,
but you got warm weather and wind.
Yep. Exactly. So, and then the field this week, looking at that, there's a few top tier guys, but then there's a lot of drop off this week. There's kind of this stair step method down to players. This is just kind of here they are, and then there's a cliff.
And why is that?
Because people are saving themselves for the Masters.
Pre-Masters.
But then there's guys.
And I don't know the stat. Google it real quick. How many have won the Valero, went on to win the Masters? First of all, we always talk to back-to-back weeks as a rarity. What about the Valero to the Masters? Has it ever been done? And you need another drink because
I feel like
here's this.
I feel like
water.
Spieth might have won the Valero and then won the Masters.
I think Spieth won the Valero and then collapsed in the Masters.
Oh, that's fair too.
I'm pretty sure that was.
I'd have to Google it and really get back down into it, but
we'll tweet it.
Yeah, we'll definitely tweet it.
But I'm pretty sure it's not good.
No,
I don't know.
So why play in it?
Because you have to make
is what they're thinking.
Because you have to. Some of those guys that have already qualified for the Masters, but you guys like you just mentioned, Richard Bland, Ricky Fowler. At this point,
Oh, Fowler.
He's got to win this tournament to
play in the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's not gonna make it.
So
like
there's
a
guys
Rory, Spieth. Spieth's always gonna play its home course. Right. Rory's gonna play because he wants to get prepared. He hasn't played in 2 years.
But
he didn't play in the.
It's a motivation thing too. It's a motivation thing. How motivated are these guys to win this tournament? Are they just kind of out there, hey, I don't want to stiffen up. I just want to stay loose. I want to keep my swing intact. Maybe I get an early exit and I leave on Saturday and I go down to Augusta.
But I feel good about my game.
Exactly.
And I think the majority of the top players
are these guys
want that.
missing putts on purpose?
I don't think they're throwing it. I don't think they do that.
Because ultimately that's what it comes down to.
I think ultimately it comes down to this is my opinion. They play to make their game, whatever they're working on, they're working on. This is a work-on course for them to prepare for the Masters. If they're in contention, your competitive nature kicks in. I'm trying to win now.
That's fair.
Am I grinding over that 3-foot putt that looks a little weird? Am I reading it as much as I would in the Masters? No. But on Saturday, Sunday, I'm in contention. I will.
Yeah, but those guys aren't changing they're not changing their routine to not make the Masters.
Correct.
And if they are, they're not winning the Masters.
Correct. I agree.
I mean,
I agree. But are they super upset if they've corrected that one thing in their swing and they miss a cut? Or they're like T50?
right. But if you're missing a cut in a field that's this weak, do you feel good about your game?
You could if you fix that one thing. If you were focusing on one thing.
Right, but I mean, how bad are the other things?
Well, I mean,
On a course that's going to yield,
I mean, you're right.
at least, I would say at least 15 under and probably in the 20s to win.
It depends on who you are.
So that's actually,
It depends on who you are.
I think 22, I think, was the highest that's ever happened.
In my opinion, it depends on who you are. If you're in the top 10, maybe even 15.
Did you give us a weather update?
I haven't just yet. So weather. So here's going to be the day, and lo and behold, it's cut day. It's Friday. So Thursday, sunny, high of 85. Lower winds, northeast 5 to 10 mile an hour, and then it changes a little bit northwest in the afternoon. Friday, that's where we get some winds. High of 85. East-northeast winds, 5 to 15, and then gusts up to 20 and some above that. It changes south-southeast in the afternoon. Saturday, mostly sunny, 88 degrees. Northeast, 5 to 10, so pretty perfect weather. And then Sunday, mostly sunny, high near 87.
So
didn't really give me a wind update. So
I mean, on that,
nothing.
This course is going to be gettable.
Absolutely.
it's going to be gettable. The thing that I did read,
they allow it.
the thing that I did read on a lot of these holes, and we can go our hole by hole breakdown if we really wanted to, but
I don't think we need to at the Valero, I'll be honest.
But a lot of these holes, it sounds like the longer holes in the past, the wind has been at people's back, and at shorter holes, wind has been right in their face, and it's been tough. So it doesn't necessarily bode all that well to be super, super long here. These par fives, I mean, some length on these par fives is good, but most of these are still 3-shot par fives for a lot of people.
Well, also, everybody's long on tour these days.
Yeah. To me, it's what the grounds crew or the tournament decides they want to do, because it's now in their control. This weather is their control. If they want a 15, 16 on the centimeter, they can. If they don't, they don't.
Yep.
It kind of is what it is on their
Guys,
hands.
that just reminded me, my new driver came in today.
What? You got a new driver? What is it?
So I have the G400.
Who are you sponsored by?
The Budget Golf G400.
Nice.
Cracked in the face during indoor golf this year. So I took it to Wagner's Golf, shout out in Ames. And they are a Ping dealer, so they worked with a Ping rep. I have a brand new Ping 425 coming in for a replacement of my Ping G400 with the same shaft and a brand new head and a 2 upgrade. So I missed the 410, went straight to the 425, fall free.
I don't
head
like
is
the 425.
Huh?
I don't like the 425.
What
I
head
like
is
the
it?
425 better than the 410.
Agree.
So
Agreed. No, you agree.
and I got a free brand new driver.
Which one of the 3 heads did you get?
The black one.
No, the 425 has their
My answer is going to be the same.
the max,
It's going to be.
you don't know what it
It's going
is.
to be the black one.
But you're not. I mean,
I can take
to
a
be fair,
picture. I can take
how
a
many
picture of it.
drivers are?
I have the reason I'm asking is because
I didn't have the max, so my guess is it's just going to be the regular.
The reason that I'm asking is because I have the max. I have the 425 max.
That's right.
I'm just saying though, black drivers are the best.
Right.
Shafts and heads.
No comments.
So key metrics this week.
Key metrics.
Strokes gained tee to green.
That's the putting.
Strokes gained around the green is big.
Ben Wagner here. Just calling to let you know that we got your G425 in here, your brand new one. So
Let's
come
go.
over here anytime and come pick it up. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Let's remind everyone that after we pick our picks,
There's my message to get up there and pick up my
what
brand
are we doing
new
this week?
driver.
I think the weather's good. We should do something.
What do you mean?
I don't think the weather's good.
It's not good.
Locally, it's not good.
Go to Denver. It's 70,
okay.
it's 75 and sunny.
We'll wait till the Masters week.
So we went strokes gained tee to green, par 5 scoring, strokes gained around the green, putting. And then the big one that I've seen is proximity. It's more longer irons, more that 150 to 175 range, but 125 to 175 has been a big one that I've seen.
So what do you think? I don't see any picks in there.
Oh, I haven't typed my picks in this week.
Let's go.
Just yet.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Secret.
Let's go.
Guys, I got a lot of making up to do. I missed the cut, obviously, in the WGC pick for one and done, even though my other picks would have been way better, and that's just kind of the story of my season so far. So I'm going freaking rogue.
Let's go.
The rest of the year.
Let's go. Dark horse.
Dark horse?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know. Curveball.
Dark
You see that
horse.
curveball? What's your MLB team?
I don't really have it.
You don't baseball? Is that your thing?
I mean, I don't mind watching postseason, but it's kind of like NBA. I don't really have an NBA team for that reason.
You should. Because Braves, baby.
Go Braves. I don't hate the Braves. Wait a second. Dark horse.
You know why? Because it's going to be Braves LA again.
My winner might be
Damn Dodgers.
my winner might be a dark horse. That's the problem.
So, fun fact.
Because what's our
Dodgers, Braves
what's our
decided
dark horse?
just to switch players and be like, oh, that's a favorite? Oh, that's a favorite? Let's just switch them. Let's go switch these.
My dark horse is my winner.
just-
There will
my
be a
winner
lot
is
of
great
shit
organizations.
talking.
My winner, my one and done, I should say, is actually a dark horse because he's plus 6,500.
You're one and done?
Yep.
You got to be effing me.
We got to start.
Anyways,
We got
dark horse.
I think I know exactly who it is
So let's see.
because he's got great course history here.
Yep.
I'm gonna type it in
let's
for you.
see.
I'm going to type this in prior to you.
I will take.
Is that your one and done pick right there?
No.
No? What?
But I'll take him as a dark horse.
I absolutely like that as a dark horse. Now that I looked at it, I like that. I like a lot, like a box of chocolates.
Unless it's one of your guys's.
No.
Okay. So I'll take that.
I mean,
That's
I'll
your
take
dark horse?
old Matty Kuchar.
Matt Kuchar? Is your dark
6,500.
horse?
Yep. My winner is also plus 6,500. So that's
That's
that
cool.
works.
we won't get there yet.
Mhm.
I'm taking Fowler. You know what? I'm an emotional guy.
Stop it. Just stop.
Like went Finale last week. I want people to do well. I want
You
them
should
to
go
do good.
now again this week. I thought about going.
I can't because he's not plus 5,500. He's plus 3,600.
I know.
So I'm gonna go with Fowler. He needs to win. So why not?
Yeah. I mean, that's all there can be said about that.
He's gonna miss the damn cut.
Oh, I'm debating between
He's
my
been
dark
so
horse and my
bad
top
for
40.
3 years. That sucks. Can't say I've been there.
Dark horse. Let's go. I'm going to go with a guy who's from the state of Texas, plus 9,000, Dylan Fratelli.
Fratelli.
With the goggles?
God.
Only guy that wears
Dylan Fratella.
sports goggles in golf.
Hey,
Why is that? I don't understand.
If I played golf as good as him, I'd wear sports goggles too if I had to.
I
To
mean,
be honest. You told me timeout. If you told me I could
For him,
golf,
not you. For him.
Stoy Hall today, you would be a scratch golfer if you wore sports goggles. You're saying no?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I'm not one with sports goggles.
Just to golf?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking that in a heartbeat.
I love some swag.
I love golf more than I love swag.
Love some swag.
Maybe that's
I
just
can swag myself into becoming a scratch golfer.
the shit you can.
I can.
Get the out of here.
Yeah.
Ryan,
Are you kidding me?
sports goggles? Yeah, thank you.
Put a spoiler on my back? Are you kidding me? That at least shaves 2 shots.
You're not wearing sports goggles to become a scratch golfer?
You're not picking up the joke I'm putting down?
I get it, but I'm just saying.
My stickers on my side, at least a stroke. Absolutely. To be a scratch golfer, I'd give up a lot of things.
Whoa. Where's the line?
Like my left toe.
Okay.
Not my
That's
big
it?
toe. My pinky.
On
doesn't
your,
move. It
Only
doesn't
on
do
your
shit.
left foot.
No. It
Right
could be,
foot, too?
both.
Pinky toes
Yes.
for scratch golfing.
Absolutely. Because
A
they don't
testicle?
affect me. They don't even move.
A
No,
testicle.
I mean, they shoot blanks now. So what's the point?
Both of them, right?
I mean, scratch golfer 1, 2 under for the other one, 1 under for the other.
No, because from scratch golfer, you've got to pretty much get to being able to like at least compete on like the Corn Ferry.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll give up both.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Because like
them.
scratch golfer to get
Absolutely.
to there.
Oh,
like,
okay.
that's
Cool.
like,
Yeah.
That's just as far as
Yeah,
our steps.
yeah.
in
You're right.
golf.
Absolutely. Take them both.
Take them both, and both toes.
Yeah.
And pinkies.
No.
And you can't take pinkies
No,
away in golf.
Can't take no, I need my pinkies. My toes and my balls.
And you also can't take
my
big
toes and my balls.
All right, that's fair.
Send them.
You toes and balls for Corn Ferry competition.
Someone make that happen. God.
Love it. Love
Somebody?
it.
Anybody?
Ryan,
way,
you're in for that as well.
Those have been bright the whole entire time, and I blame you. This is some bullshit. Can't even see the green. Can't even see the master screen.
Boo.
I didn't.
All right.
I didn't
Hey,
put it
wait,
at
wait.
Masters green.
Who put
It's
it to
turquoise.
green?
It's turquoise.
No, it's going to be Masters green next week, bud.
Yeah.
But up there it looks cool.
No, you should see how green
No,
it's
the
gonna
green.
be.
The green
it's-
is
it's
way
way
different.
Tell the
It's
green.
way
This
different.
is like a tease.
So this is pre-masters.
pre-Masters
We're
tease lighting.
we're getting there.
Yeah. We're fading into it.
So wait,
where
so
the
we've
hell
got
are we at?
Fratelli, Kuchar, and Fowler. All right. I'm not really excited about any of
Top
those
40?
three, but those guys will
Schwab?
do good because we're good at
Yeah,
dark
yeah.
horses.
Schwab, because that's our custodian at Black Mammoth.
Matthias. Never heard of him.
The hell
Is
are
that
we
the
doing?
he
Top
run-
40?
Does that guy do your
Why
investments?
would you do that? Why would you pick him?
Yeah,
Who
that doesn't
is
make
he?
sense. You know who I'm taking? Jordan
I
Spieth's best friend. Kramer Hickok
Where are you guys getting these guys? Why?
from Texas. Played with Spieth at the University of Texas. Has played this course well. Finished well last year. Give me Kramer.
What's his odds right now?
Plus 185. And a value bet. Wait.
Yeah, I
Matthias
didn't.
Schwab is plus
No,
12,000.
I put him on
for-
it. I had him in the finishing position, as my dark horse.
I'm like, what in the?
No.
What?
I had him as a dark horse originally, and that's what his to win.
Poulter.
I don't even know who
You think
he
Ian
is.
Poulter cares about this event?
He's just playing well. He's gonna limp into a top 40.
He's not strong enough.
He's gonna limp into a top 40.
Who are you picking? Matthias?
Where is
He's plus 185. He's right
he
next to
is.
Kramer Hickok.
Yeah, but I mean Kramer Hickok, like him and Jordan Spieth are best buds. They played this course in their sleep.
Oh, they're best buds. Shut up.
Give me some
Yeah.
Pat Perez in that regard, then. Jeez.
Settle down. We got
Is he plus 125?
no Poulter is
No, I'm only taking 125s all season.
Schwab and
I'm saying Pat Perez. Is he plus
No, he's
125?
plus 185.
Oh.
so we've got Hickok, Schwab, and Poulter for our top 40s. Only
There's
one
some
of
good
those,
value there.
Only one of those makes sense.
There's good value there. Absolutely.
You guys willing to throw a shitty shot on a top 40 this week?
Absolutely.
Since we're all
I
at
have
Best
to pee.
best finishing top 40
yeah.
Yeah,
for a shitty shot?
absolutely.
I'm in on that.
This is a cool rule. Every, I guess, whatever, someone gets instead of a mulligan,
Mm-hmm.
you can say, we're doing a shitty shot on that.
That's fair.
Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
You can't go back-to-back weeks,
Right.
but everyone
Each
gets
week,
one.
you
So,
can
like,
just,
you can't go next week,
right.
but I could go.
Right. Like, I like my top 40 chances here as Hickok finishing higher than
Okay.
those two. So, like, I'll take my.
What is happening?
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Shitty shots on top
That's
40.
easy.
All right.
All
Fade. Player to fade.
now you're going to fade Hickok.
By the way, my
The guy's like
Absolutely.
72nd favorite.
I just want everyone to know my Sam's Club order's ready. I got 3 emails and text.
They really want you to show
my
up.
lord.
It wasn't supposed to be ready till 7.
7. Yeah, 7 to 8 was my window.
All right, where are we going, Ryan? Fading or winning?
Fade or ridden.
I mean, my fade will probably win again.
Yeah, that's fair.
So let's go fade.
Do you want me to take it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to, because I think he's getting into form and I literally don't think he has any idea how the hell he's going to play, I'm going to fade Bryson. That dude hit it all over the course in match play, and yeah, he made some birdies, but ultimately he is literally just trying to get some golf in before the Masters because of his injury, and so I don't think that right now he is plus 2,400, which is the 6th overall favorite, and I don't understand that at all. Like, if he finishes top 40, it'll be a damn miracle.
Yeah.
So he'll probably win.
I don't want to pick the same person as you.
It's fine.
I don't.
Well, you can't. I mean, but it just makes sense. Like it doesn't. Him being 6 doesn't make any damn sense. Did anybody watch him play last weekend?
No, I
He hit the ball all over the damn course. If there wasn't grandstands, he'd have been out of bounds like 12 times.
Right. I can't argue. Give me Dish and Bow.
That's, I mean,
Don't do it.
Goon Lockett?
No.
no.
Do
Stop.
it. Do
Stop.
it.
No.
Come
Stop.
on. That means he will win. And we all have shots. Do it.
It's just hard to find a better one is the thing.
Maybe Connors because he's 3, so he goes to.
Well, that because he played so much golf.
No.
Yeah, that's my only
that's
other
the only
one.
Other, but he's got great course history, so
And
it's
the dude's
tough.
been playing so
But
good.
he's been playing so well.
I'm taking Jason Day.
Oh, wow.
He's 14th. I'm taking Jason Day as my player to fade this week.
Okay.
I didn't know we could go to 15. I forgot.
We could go to
You can change
plus
still, but
5,000.
I just don't know that there's
anything
a better one to
below
pick.
plus 5,000. So Charlie Hoffman and above this week.
Mm-hmm. Remember, it's just we figure the position number.
Right.
Position number subtraction.
I forgot about those rules. I'll stick.
He's
with
like
them.
the PGA. Like, oh, whatever rule. You can just play
So-
whatever rules. It's fine.
So jumping up, we can do outrights, or we can. I mean, Stoy's already got his one and done pick in. I have no
Let's go.
effing clue who I'm gonna take.
Let's go. It's gonna be a weird person. It's gonna be a weird person.
All week.
Me?
Look at
You
you.
said mine's gonna be a weird person.
No, they all are. The winner is going not
Oh.
to be someone that we. No.
Adam Hadwin 2 weeks ago was the best player in my model. It didn't take him, and I think he got second.
So now it is.
Sucks to suck. So, I'm gonna take him as my outright.
Yeah. Stoy's got. Are we going outrights right now?
I just called it.
Ryan, are you ready? Or you want me to go?
I'm ready.
Okay, you do it.
Chris Kirk outright. He's got some course history.
Does he?
Oh yeah. He's gotten 6th and 8th, 2 top 10s in the past 3 years. Well, 4 because they didn't play in 2020. He is currently 12th highest, so plus 3,400. I like Chris Kirk.
I'm gonna let you guys pick my outright winner.
Excuse me. Wait, what?
I'm gonna give you 2 choices, and I'll let you pick. And these are 2 players that have, I would say, struggled, but also.
So Tony Finau's one of them.
Yep. And that's the reason why, because like I don't just want to straight pick Tony Finau, and Jordan Spieth's the other one, hometown course.
That both of them. Spieth won't win on purpose because of the Masters debacle.
But he's
And
second.
Finau probably, if he plays that well, he will just get into it.
But he hasn't played that well all year.
So if I'm being
Spieth
honest,
is
I don't
2.
want. I don't want part of this.
if I'm being honest, I'm debating on taking Tony Finau for my one and done pick because in my model
So you got
he's
2 and
the best player in my model right now.
2 and 7, I think.
I don't want to.
If I'm seeing this correctly, let me.
I don't
So-
want part of that debacle.
Here is Tony Finau's biggest strengths.
He doesn't have any right now.
From 150 to 175, he's 4th in the world.
So 10.
Yeah, because
From-
that's his-
Finau would be 10.
From par five scoring, he is 10th in the world. And that's where you got to score here is on their par fives. And then tee to green, he's 39th. So he's well above average.
So Finau's 13th and Spieth is 2nd. So like that's what you're fading against basically. Whereas like obviously Kirk and Hadwin would be probably a little bit lower.
So
I
here
assume.
is why I would take Finau over Jordan Spieth. And this is
that just the gap?
this is pure. I would take Finau over Jordan Spieth because I think Jordan Spieth has a better chance of winning the Masters. So I think Jordan Spieth plays better next week at the Masters than he does at the Valero Open.
So Hadwin is one person above, and Kirk is one person below Finau. No, Hadwin is 2 people above, and Kirk is 1 person above Finau. So it's Hadwin, Kirk, Finau in order of favorites for outright winners. So Finau would actually be the least favorited in those 3.
It's
And
fun
Spieth
how
would be
we
the
win
second.
this for Shitty Shot. I would go Finau for you and that's just me being a friend.
I mean, I'll totally ride Finau. That's completely fine. He played well in his last round of the WGC is the only reason that I say that.
He did.
Because if he hadn't, I wouldn't have even brought his name up.
He did. He actually didn't play terrible.
And I was
He
really
got
hoping that
better.
the match play for that reason would maybe turn his season around. So
Maybe it will.
for that, we'll
Okay.
we'll go Finau.
But not for your one and done?
Nope.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, my one and done's even more random. Because I gotta make some money.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we all do. I think I'm in 32nd, and I am leading this squad
Yeah.
by quite a bit. And by quite a bit, I mean, I am up on Cole by 230,000. And
You got to be up
Cole-
like 500 on me.
Cole is up 160,000 on
It's about $400,000 difference.
Yeah.
500.
It's great.
That's a top 10 finish.
I'm going to go first
Yep.
because I have to your date. I'm going to go with Answer. He started to get hot. It's going to be someone random. Answer will not win the Masters, so I'm not worried about that. I think this will be a tournament he can sneak in and
Old Abe Answer played some good golf this weekend.
absolutely.
If he didn't play good golf
Go
last
Pete, we'll see
weekend, that
you.
was 100% my player to fade. If he didn't play good last weekend.
I like it, but he did. He got hot.
One and done. You ready, Ryan?
I don't know.
I'm ready.
Can't wait to come
Go, you go, because I don't know that I am.
Robert McIntyre. You hear that?
Come on.
Whoa! About tipped over
Robbie
my
Mack.
chair. About tipped over my chair. It was so crazy. Good course history, and as we're talking about a little bit
MAC.
to Stoy's point, Robert McIntyre has officially qualified for the Masters.
He has?
Yeah, so like he doesn't have the Masters pressure per se, but also like wants to be playing good golf going into the Masters in order to play well, but has no chance at winning the Masters. So thought process on that is simply wants to continue to play
So I was
well
very
and will, like,
frustrated.
be-
I think if I was
and
going
he's
course
plus
history.
6,500
Yeah.
by the way.
Course history, I was very frustrated to not see Ryan Moore in here in the field because he competes at this course, and that was going to be my pick. One and done. I'm between two guys.
Taylor Moore's also played well.
Taylor Moore in my model. He is in my model. I have a model right now. Taylor Moore is dead last.
On this field?
So I have 19 people, and he is dead last out of 19 people. So I have a
Hey,
tier.
don't go with him then.
I have a tier system: tier 1, tier 2, tier
right.
3.
So Finau is who you're going with this week?
It's either Finau or Connors. Connors' recent
Connors
form.
just played a lot.
That's
of golf.
exactly why I have a question mark on this.
Right.
Is because he just played 7 matches last week.
Like he's not trying to round into form.
And I could see him being like, okay, I played really, really well last week.
Remember, it's only Tuesday.
he
I
could
could
be-
see him possibly withdrawing.
Yes, and that Corey Connors.
Corey Connors.
Oh, absolutely.
So
He's
I'm
played well enough this year not to need it,
right.
and just played 5 rounds, or was it 7 rounds in 5 days?
Tony
Or something
has
like that?
played here in the past.
Robert McIntyre.
Hasn't had the greatest course history. But
He hasn't.
I mean, I look at there's some other guys miscut and then 6th the next year, miscut 17th the next year, miscut 8th the next year.
Right.
I'm going Finau.
Tony?
I wanted to save him till later, but and this is another reason, a little bit weaker of a field. He might gets in the top 10, get some dollars behind his name.
Is he in the Masters regardless?
Yeah. So Tony Finau at plus 3,600. That's my
Masters.
one and done.
That's the
So
thing.
so we can bring in now that we have our picks. I think we bring in maybe the biggest golf news that we've.
Is Tiger playing or is he not?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if
Somebody
we'll
tell me.
know.
We'll know on what cuts Wednesday. That he has to declare. I think it's Wednesday, maybe
Oh,
Tuesday
I
of
had-
next week.
He walked today. So here's the
Played
thing.
a practice round.
Charlie, Tiger, and JT were all at Augusta National today, hitting golf balls.
From Tiger's jet.
Well, they all flew in.
Yeah, on Tiger's jet.
And
Tiger's
then
jet.
He's got a jet. They've got a jet tracker. It's like
ridiculous.
It's like the Santa Claus tracker.
It's ridiculous.
Kevin
For
Streelman
golf
tweeted out a picture of his flight to
Southwest.
say, yeah,
Which
tweeted out
it's
a
funny because
picture.
I flew Southwest from Denver to Des Moines and Des Moines back to Denver. Everyone should know, and I don't know how many people fly Southwest. On Southwest, you don't get to pick your seats.
No.
So, like, Streelman's flying on a flight of which, yes, he's in the A group, so, like, he's one of the first 30 people, so he's going to get a good seat. But I sat between two 60-plus-year-old women in the middle seat on my way
They
back
liked you, didn't they?
from Denver
Don't tell them.
last night. And literally I sat like this. I am not a comfortable guy to be sitting next to on an airplane. So I felt bad, so I tried to choose the two smallest people. So we're like in row 16 of 30. You know, I'm like middle of the plane, like searching, like, because I am not a guy who jump up when it's boarding time. Like, what the hell are we doing here? I'm not standing in line. Like, I'm sitting here as long. So I was the second to last person to board both my flights from Des Moines to Denver, from Denver to Des Moines. So thankfully, Des Moines to Denver, it's a third, 2/3 full. Like,
Yeah.
I get an aisle seat perfectly fine.
What's going through your mind if you see this guy as one of the last guys
Right.
walk on the plane and you have a seat next to you? You're like,
Yeah, you're like,
be
I put
please.
a bag on.
And the guys in the, like, everybody in the back's just kind of staring, like, and obviously, like, as the back kind of fills, you know, 2 seats or whatever, there's not any luggage spots. Nice thing about Southwest, you get a carry-on and a above. So, like, I put my carry-on in row 10, and, like, I'm, like, looking. I'm, like, row 12's the exit. And I'm, like, well, it'd be nice to sit in the middle of row 12. None of the two at least average size guys sitting. So it's like, oh, that's not going to be comfortable. So I'm, like, looking out. So there's one lady standing behind me, and she's kind of, like, looking. I'm like, there's nothing back there. And the flight attendants are all standing there, and they're like, yeah, it's going to be a middle seat. And then they make the announcement of, like, oh, some mom and her daughter wants to do this. And I'm like, well, I just better find the best available seat. Like, there's, like, 3 kids sitting together, and I'm like, do I sit with, I've got headphones. I'm going to watch a movie on the way home. Like, do I just go sit with the kids? Like, that'd be kind of creepy, though. Like, I don't want them to think that I'm the creepy dude that wants to
I'm
sit
that
with,
guy.
like, the 3. So, like, yeah, I've got kids. So, like, therefore I can take that, but that's not what it looks like on a plane.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I chose the 2 65-year-old smaller women, and they probably hated their life. But at the end of the day, I turned the light on for the one of them. So
they probably actually loved it.
it's
They're like,
fine.
oh, this
But, like,
this burly young man just sitting
Right.
next
I was
to us.
waiting for
He
the-
chose us
I was waiting
out
for
of
the-
anybody.
I was waiting for the double hand to his thighs.
no, stop it.
He chose
But
us
to
out of
take that
anybody on this
into
plane.
making it like the golf world in general, like, that's what these guys do. Even the guys that have like, he's made some money.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Quite a
like,
bit.
but, like, they still fly commercial. They still fly with the rest of us. That's why you're going to see these guys at
Except
the
for
airport.
Tiger.
Okay. And how
Except for the top 10 in the world,
And that's-
5 in the world.
Maybe.
And that's
I
the
actually
thing.
really have no.
Like,
a lot of those
Brahms
guys like to.
probably not flying commercial.
No, but they like to pair together. They'll share a jet together. This is legitimately Tiger's jet.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Tiger.
He showed up as Augusta.
Yeah, but JT can fly
With his
Tiger's
son?
jets anytime he wants.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But that's
He probably does.
That's what I
Amy
think.
Friend.
Yeah.
JT's not flying commercial.
No, not at all.
Not on his own dime. Not on
But
Tiger.
does Tiger play? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think he's just
Tiger
he's
doesn't show
tough.
up unless he knows.
Right.
Also,
He's not. This is his
How
normal
much-
prep. Like
He's
this
also
is.
not
This
making-
is not.
He's also not making the cut.
Man, we'll get to that after this though. Tiger doesn't.
We'll get to that next week.
Tiger's normal prep is what he's currently doing. Let's put it out there. Okay. If he doesn't think he can do his normal prep, he's not showing up.
Yeah, but he's been
He's
walking.
done that in the past.
He's been walking at his home course with
Forever.
with Joe
For
Cava
at
for the
least
last week.
at least a week.
Yes, but like, and that was reported. But now is the next step of, can I walk Augusta? The thing with Augusta is you can't take your caddy until Masters week. So LaCava's not there.
Right.
So he has to walk with
That's why his son's there.
with an right. But the other thought is Tiger's there for Charlie because they're going to play in the par 3.
Right.
And then he's not there for himself. And so,
Which would be a sweet curveball.
Right. I mean, everybody's excited for that as well. But like JT's there, and I don't know if JT usually goes a week early or not. I mean, I don't know JT's schedule. He's not playing the Valero,
there's not JT tracker that I know of.
I mean, you could probably go back and look at, do these guys take, like, does Rory usually play the week before the Masters or not?
He does not.
Rahm usually play the week before the Masters or not? Like, though, like this year, I was surprised actually to see that Rory didn't play in the match play because he's a historically good match play player, but didn't play well in the last Ryder Cup either.
Is now playing Valero.
So, like, I thought he might look for redemption there, but didn't. Like, that's a whole nother story itself. Yeah. But, like, when you look at Tiger, Charlie comes into play way more now, as like we've seen them play in the father-son tournaments than ever discussed before. So, and like that might be being
so your theory is this year, next year's different, right? This year is Tiger is playing for Charlie's experience in the Masters.
Tiger wants to play.
Well, obviously.
And if he can, he will. But he is not there.
He's not saying I'm winning
exclusively for Tiger.
He's there for more Charlie this year.
He knows that he's still playing in the par 3 with Charlie. So, worst case scenario, him and Charlie are playing in the par 3.
So we keep talking about Charlie.
He'll also let Charlie putt so that way he doesn't win because no one wins when they win the par 3.
And just saying. And Charlie's money.
Charlie's
keep talking about Charlie.
So much more than Tiger
in the future
before he even gets dominant.
In the future, what do we? In the future, do you think? So obviously, Tiger might play.
Lincoln Hall's going to dominate.
Tiger might play some.
Charlie Woods.
Tiger might play some charity events and different stuff like that. He might play some senior tour stuff. But do you think
Tiger won't play senior tour?
Do you think he just caddies for Charlie?
No, Tiger's going to play the majors until he no longer can. That's it.
He'll play his.
I feel like
he might caddy for him up until.
No, he'll play. I don't think he'll caddy for Charlie at all.
Well, he caddies now for his little league stuff.
He doesn't caddy.
He just caddied for one of his biggest tournaments.
No, I'm just saying like for like
once
you're
it becomes
talking about
like
for like his junior.
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm saying once it becomes
he won't be the caddy.
Amateur stuff.
But he'll have Joe caddy for him.
He'll have Joe caddy for him. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Or
JT's dad caddy for him.
Right.
Absolutely. Now,
that would
be coaching.
That would be
there
awesome.
Side by side. 100%.
That would be kind of a cool.
Caddy for him.
JT. That would be cool.
Yeah, except for
JT's
playing.
Yeah.
Right, but 12. Like, I mean, they should actually be playing together, which that'll be cool when that happens. But like, I don't think Tiger is the guy to shadow Charlie into like the caddying world of like when he gets into college golf and stuff like that. As a father, yes, because like I feel like that's a different experience.
I believe he'll be there to take attention off of Charlie.
Right.
I think that's what Tiger's doing now.
Right.
He is doing things to get Charlie involved with the media and get him comfortable because no other kid in the world has to deal with that.
Right.
So he's getting him comfortable now. So he'll never have to have that pressure. And then once the big tournaments come, Tiger's going to be there and he's going to take it off of Charlie.
What I thought was cool.
I would as a father. That would be my game plan.
Right. You talked about media a little bit. What I thought was cool at the Dell Matchplay is there were some actual tour players that were like doing some of the live reporting and doing some of the like the play-by-play stuff. I thought that was awesome because that's
I don't see Tiger ever doing that.
No, I'm not saying.
Yeah, but you're going to.
I'm not saying he will.
We're on Tiger's. I'm saying we're on Tiger's conversation.
You brought up media. That's why I brought this up.
I don't believe Tiger would ever do
that. No.
To married.
You don't think so?
I could see him.
He's become more and more available.
Yeah, but like as
more and more
everyday thing right? For the Masters, yes.
Yeah, but he's going to want to play in the Masters.
That's what I mean. Like, so the only tournament I think he would do it for would be the Masters. Yet he's going to play it until he's 65.
I'm talking about like
he's dead,
and he's going to be coaching or like
Ryder
Cups. And stuff
absolutely,
like
he's going to be the coach.
So he's not going to commentate those.
He's not going to do a random
ultimately.
Tournament. Maybe his own
Charlie,
his host tournament. He might.
Yeah, but I mean, he'll still play in those even if he's healthy.
Or Charlie does. I don't.
Right.
Who knows?
And Charlie's what? 12, 11, 8,
12,
9.
He's 12.
10. Right. I think. Exactly. COVID. I mean, like
anyways,
I saw him when he was 8.
He will have sponsor exemption in those tournaments. So once that happens, Tiger might then press boxes.
He's 13 years
Let's
old.
go to like the whole father son. Like usually the fathers who have sons, the greatest of all times, their sons or their relatives are not. They can be good, but they're never.
They're as dominant.
I
Correct.
feel like Charlie Woods is the first person that has had the goods,
At
for
this
lack
stage.
of a better term, at this stage. Like Michael Jordan's kids never had the goods.
No.
LeBron's kid, you can argue he doesn't have the goods. He's not a lottery pick. Not even being talked
No.
about. Like
No. You're right. You're right.
and like he's close. I mean, he's being
He's
talked
close.
about, but like he's not like he's going to go to a
He's
good
up there.
college.
Right.
But like he's only going to go to a really good college because of LeBron and because of who he is. So like,
You're right.
but Woods, like Charlie has the want to. He has
That's the passion.
coaching. He has the culture. He has the peer group. Like he's going to be good at golf. End of story. He's too
has the
passionate
facilities.
and good. Like, there's
his
too many
passion.
things within golf that you can be good and then have the God-given ability from your parents. That he has the natural ability in a golf swing that doesn't change. Like
And-
that, the natural ability of a golf swing
Oh,
when you're
it's
this young
stupid.
doesn't ever like it doesn't change from
yeah,
like
no.
you
I
either
think-
swing good or you don't.
Plus, he's going
And he
to be able
swings
to
good.
learn from what his grandfather's mistakes were
Hmm?
and his own father's mistakes with changing his swing 100 times.
Well, yeah, but a lot of that was
Like-
injury prone.
Before, though, it was an injury. He changed like 3 or 4 times before he got injured.
Well, right, but like
And
he
then it
was
changed.
changing and still being dominant.
Right. But that's what I'm saying, though. He'll have his dad to say, you don't need to make that change. You're dominant.
And just hopefully
Which is
he can
different.
stay off prescription drugs.
Oh, in Las Vegas and all
Yeah,
the.
I mean, and
which
if
he
he
probably
can stay
will.
out of the IHOP, the Denny's, and prescription drugs, Charlie will be in
alright.
good shape.
Yeah,
Ryan,
we'll be
what
alright.
say you?
So I think my favorite part about this whole thing with Charlie is I don't like Tiger has never really voiced and come out and said, "Oh, he has to play golf. He has to do this. He has to do this."
Like his father did.
Exactly. And I think high-level athletes, when their kids are not forced into it, they're around the sport enough and they just build their own passion around it, that's where
That's the
the
difference.
goods come.
Absolutely.
And that's why Charlie's going to be good for a long time.
And because of that, he can be better than Tiger.
So, like, here's my question, because like I watched the documentary on the way on my flight, my Southwest
Your
flight,
Southwest flight.
like, to Denver, that was called Short Game, and it's about the junior level children that go to a North Carolina
For the
Soccer
for the
partner?
junior
Drive
nash-
putt.
no,
Oh.
no, no,
No.
no. This is
The
for
junior
the junior
national.
nationals. They played 9 holes,
Right.
3 days in a row event, and to declare a national champion. So that we're talking like 6 to 9 year olds,
Yep.
and just it basically was a biography and a following of I want to say 6 kids, 3 girls, 3 boys, and just like the parents' involvement, the prep, the tournament itself, and like the 2 that won like the 7 and 8 year old division were, best friends, grew up in Florida, play golf together, and it was the girl and the boy, that they ended up winning. They were expected to win. They were the number 1 in their age group. And then, some other kids that came up the ranks that were from different countries, because this is national. This is kids from all over the world type of thing. And just to see at that age, I mean, that's why I asked what age. Charlie's 13. Like, he never had to be thrust into any of that even, because he can bypass
All of it.
all of the ruckus that is, you don't know who my dad is, but my dad wants me to be a great golfer. You don't know who,
Right.
you don't know what I've gone through. And like, to some point, like, that's why those kids thrive eventually,
Yeah.
but also that's why those kids get burnt out. And to the credit of the video, like, it showed both sides of that, like the frustrations. There's the girl, for example, that actually ended up winning, but she had a meltdown on the last day, mental meltdown, ended up winning by 1 stroke. But her dad calls her Tigress, and literally he is banking their family future on her being the
Tiger.
best women's golfer ever. and like what that brings to a kid whose dad is a middle of the road wage making guy, and they've put everything into their one daughter
to be
who is no doubt the best 8-year-old girl in the country. Like, she's elite. She shot like a 6 or 7 over on the last day and still won the tournament. Like, that's how dominant she was the first 2 days. But it's just like the pressure that puts on that one little girl to be the next Tiger Woods of her sport, compared to Charlie of his dad being able to take the scope off of him for all the way through college, dare I say? Like, does Charlie have that much pressure even whatever? I mean, he's going to go to college. He's going to play college golf for a year, 2, 3. Like,
Stanford's obviously going to pressure him to go there.
Like, and but like at what point, does that pressure shift to Charlie of like fully taking on like what my dad has been able to help me avoid, and then like eventually there's a pressure to win, but like it's not at age 6, 7, 8 when we want kids to be kids, but at the same point, like we want, if the kids are damn good at it, we're going to give them every opportunity.
I don't think Charlie feels that pressure until he's maybe playing Augusta. Like it's that bar of feeling that pressure is so much higher for him.
But he can play as an amateur at Augusta. So does he feel it then, or does he not feel it till he turns pro?
Well, what I mean, does he feel it
at all?
We're talking about like Tiger.
We're also talking about a kid that's playing against the top 5 golfers in the world as a 12 and 13-year-old.
So like now
he's already been there, right?
And he's exposed now. He's getting Augusta. He's getting all the exposure now because I believe Tiger hit it for 12 years. Because he started at 12 when he started being in the spotlight.
And we don't even know the side matches. Tiger could set up a match with anybody he wants, and Charlie could be a part of it.
Anybody.
And we're talking.
Nobody's going to say no to coming to Paynes Valley.
Or
let alone his normal playing partners are Tiger and JT. And Rory.
And everybody else that lives in Florida.
And everyone else.
Which is
Ricky, Rory, all
Jordan,
those.
like you
Jordan.
name it. Yeah, like the greats of the game right now.
And they know it. I believe in 10
so there's
years.
no
10
starstruck
years.
for Charlie.
5 years?
I think my favorite part about
Does
it,
he
too,
go
is
to college? Is the question.
That's
in my
actually a
opinion.
good question. Like, as I talk about it, I say, yes, he's definitely going. But
Why?
at the same point, like...
What's the point? What's the point?
So my point,
Because
I guess,
Earl
with
and
this,
his mom made it so important for Tiger.
Which is why to me makes sense he doesn't. And Tiger goes, "It's your choice." Tiger will not.
Well, he's not in school on a Tuesday because he's in Augusta right now. So
I think it's probably if he goes, it maybe goes like junior college or something like that. If he really wants to, or maybe he goes full 4 years and he wants the education. I think
is he homeschooled right now? Do we know? Sorry,
I honestly don't know. I think the biggest portion with him going to college, might be by the time that he gets to college, who knows what college looks like with NIL deals, with can they win money at tournaments? Can they do this stuff? Can I go out and can I win Augusta, or can I top 10 at Augusta and can I put it into some account that doesn't pay me until after college?
But that's the thing, though. Right.
We don't. That's why I'm saying we don't know. But it's never going to be about money for him.
No, it's never going to be about money, and it's going to be about can I win or not. To me, that and as it should be.
And does it matter if I win at the college level? No.
But I think.
Why
but
would it matter?
Maybe he
That's
wants.
what I'm saying.
And then his own personal thing of I want to beat my dad's ass. So why wouldn't I start younger?
Does he want to win at every single level, though? That's my thing.
He's also
Like his
13
dad.
years old.
Yes.
His dad was
Right.
a 2-time amateur
He's
national
13 years
champion or
old.
whatever. Like, but like that's what I'm saying. Like, does that matter? And does the amateur wins that his dad accumulated? Because like Stanford, like that's pretty much like not talked about in Tiger's world at all. It's like it's all of the amateur stuff that he dominated at.
He did okay at Stanford.
But like, did he win a college national championship? I don't know the answer to that. My guess is I think the answer is no.
I don't think
but
so.
Ultimately, like he was the amateur,
the best
greatest amateur ever.
Right.
Matchplay or or stroke play. So like either one, like so therefore like is what Charlie is searching for is ultimately like in goal PGA stuff.
I do believe though that it's up to Charlie.
Yeah.
Whatever he wants to do, Tiger's gonna be behind.
Oh, absolutely.
So it'll be fun to watch in the next 5-10 years. Is that a little stretch? But
yeah, he did. He won it in '96.
I do have to go pick up my Sam's order before 8 o'clock. So
that is fine.
Hey, real quick, NFL note: the overtime rule changed so that both teams get the ball in the postseason.
Why is
just in the postseason?
Why is it not regular season? I don't understand.
So just
they had to start somewhere.
On that. Also, Tyreek Hill is the next Deebo Samuel. Somebody plan a funeral for Tyreek Hill because they can't hand the ball off to that guy up the middle without him getting absolutely killed. He'll play less than half the games this season.
He'll die
if they treat him like Deebo.
Also, Deebo apparently on the trading block. Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
Not Jimmy G though. Nobody wants him.
Hey, what do you have to say about all the parody accounts saying that Stephon Diggs is coming to Dallas?
Parody accounts.
Yes.
But
as always, everybody,
his brother wants him doesn't mean he's going to show up there.
As always, everybody, like, subscribe, follow, share. We appreciate you guys. If you guys like golf as much as we do, show us your content. Ask us questions. Who do you think is going to win the Masters? Do you think Tyler's going to play or Tiger's going to play or not?
I don't think Tyler is, but I believe.
I mean, there's probably they might be a Tyler in the field.
I have no idea.
I
but
don't
Tiger
think there is.
might be.
Do we think that Tiger plays? What are your thoughts on that? What do you think about seeing Tiger's jet in the air and pictures all over? And do you side with Kevin Streelman that everybody should be following his?
And will the refs favor Coach K?
Coach K for the win. Go Duke.
Go Nova.
Go Duke.
It's time.